When somebody from the office she'll be here tomorrow.
Hi. I love her. Good. I remember you. You're going walking well. Getting back into the cars and racing around mountains. I'm right at this place in
Bridges. Oh my gosh. Bridge. I think that's a bridge. I don't see any other bridges.
I know. I feel like this is big. I don't know.
Take care. You as well.
No, I get that. Like we're going to Christie. Oh, I know. Okay, so now you're saying one. Yeah, so
I'll call one.
Schedule broadcasts happening now.
Natty, how you been? I'm okay. How about you? Good. Been busy? How's that?
You're not currently live. I can't tell. It's supposed to automatically be connected. What is going on here?
Saying it should have started at 12:30.
Yeah, and it said it would automatically go live, and it didn't do either. You are currently not live. Make sure you've collected.
Okay.
That's a good question.
What is going on here?
They moved it just fine, and then they put it up, so everybody gets a habit.
That's me.
It's more.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
It says today at 12:30 p.m. What time does it think it is? Complete post details. Nope. Complete your post details. Yes, that's done. Go live.
My dad called me or something. I'm in trouble. I don't know. I haven't talked to him. No, you're fine. Well, I get scared easily because my dad's voice is like stern.
Why can I not? Please add a live description.
I know.
Where the heck is a live description? Okay. Go live. Man, it's like 50 jillion steps. Unable to start live video. What? Why are you unable to start live?
I get this, but like now
Save.
what?
Okay, go live.
Like our last night.
Turn off the automatic go live setting to start your live video now. What? Unable to start live video.
Am I clear? Yeah. All right, everybody. How are you doing today? So we're getting over occupancy in this room right now. Right? So just a couple of things. I'm going to go ahead and have people start signing in if you want to speak. Don't worry, I'll still operate this meeting, and it's a town hall where you can ask me if you haven't signed in, but I'd rather I can do it a little more orderly and let people speak as they want to speak. So there is a sign-up sheet. Is it in the back? It's right back there. If you all please sign up if you'd like to. We still have a little less than 10 minutes here. And then the next thing is this chambers can't hold more than 70 people at any given time. So that's why we have sound going out into, of course, the foyer area, the hallway, and then also out into the parking lot. So if you do not have a chair, we're going to have to ask you guys to stand in the hallway and listen. You should be able to listen quite well. You can watch on YouTube, you can watch on Facebook, you can watch on Zoom, but just for safety reasons, we can't have anybody standing, I guess is the best way to put it. Only people in chairs. As another note, the exits are going to be, of course, right here and right there. If you go out into that little foyer, there's a gate that you can walk through to exit in case anything happens, in case of fire issue, anything goes down. And then this takes you straight out to a parking lot, okay? For people in the hallway, of course, it will be the main entrance and then also the kitchen entrance right there to be your right if you're staring towards these chambers.
No, there's something wrong. Facebook, edit. Removing Facebook and re-adding it. No, I meant this one. Great. Now let's see if this is working. Currently not live. When does not take this? Oh my goodness.
So when you get a chance, just check it's the right microphone before you start the live.
Everyone's on. Everyone will hear you.
Okay, it says it's live on Facebook. Okay, great.
Yeah.
So it's using the same. It's using the same mic as it's.
Yeah, I just want to make sure the Facebook.
So it looks like we are up
That looks good.
on both Facebook and YouTube. I don't need those up because they're just going to slow me down. Back to here. Yeah, like Facebook did not make that easy. A little bit of participants.
I think you had everything right too. It was just like a simple relogin that fixed everything.
Yeah, I had to reset it up and tell it, hey, you just use Facebook directly. That worked. It's just going through Facebook's thing. That's the weird one.
Yeah, that's why. I've never personally used Facebook.
Thank you.
I've streamed before.
Unfortunately, I can't get Zoom to share my camera with this guy. The camera won't share between this guy and with Zoom. So in order to share this on Zoom, I'm going to have to share this screen on Zoom.
All right, everyone. It's about 1 o'clock now. So we're going to go ahead and get started. First off, this is a town hall discussion kind of meeting, sort of meeting. This is not a remarkably regimented, like our regular meetings or much like the public hearing will be tomorrow. Okay, so a lot more back and forth, a lot more conversing, a lot more communications with people, things like that. Okay, that way people can become informed, people can understand things, all that kind of good stuff. There is a sign-in sheet that I'd like people to try and sign in on if you definitely want to speak. If you at some point get to where you want to speak still, raise your hand, give my attention. If someone hears attention, I want to make sure this is just kind of an open sort of forum that we can discuss things and have questions, answers, communication, right? That being said, there's a lot of people in this room. Exits both sides, okay? In case you need to get out of here for any particular reason, or God forbid this building catches on fire, right? Exits on either side. There's exits through the kitchen, and then of course where most people came in through the foyer area. We've got this being broadcasted, so if you can't hear us real well, raise your hands way there in the back. I can see you generally, and I'll make sure we're making sure everybody can hear. That being said, I'm going to ask everyone to take a moment with me right away. So, a long-standing individual in our community died yesterday morning. Charlie Thomas. He owned the automotive and diesel repair shop on on South Zamora Road. I worked with him, been with him for many, many years. He's been in our community for probably over 35 years, maybe a little longer. I considered him my father. And he passed away yesterday morning. So if everyone would please take a moment with me. All right, thank you all very much. So let me get a little bit more composed here, guys. Sorry. We're clearly all here today to discuss a zoning change that's happening here in the village of Tijeras, or a proposed zoning change that's going to occur here in the village of Tijeras. If you don't have a map, there's some in the back that are available that you can look at and we can discuss it. And then we'll have it on this video screen right here. And can we expand that a little bit?
The map.
Yeah, please. More.
Let me. It's a little difficult.
We're working on it, guys. While he's doing that, I'll just start filling in a little bit of the back information on this. It's a 58-acre lot in the village of Tijeras. It's the largest C1 commercial lot in the village of Tijeras. It's been C1 since way kind of back. What happened was Miss Rhodes, who is here today with us as well, had purchased the property, and to be able to develop the property, C1 zoning is very small kind of zoning. It's restrictive to 1,000 square feet of retail space, which is smaller than this room. So it's fairly restrictive. It does not allow for things like multifamily dwellings. It allows for single family homes. What else is there? Are we expanding that yet?
Bigger. Let me see if I can get it even larger.
All right, give me a second, guys. It's 1 acre minimum, maximum 1,000 square feet. It has fixed standards for setbacks, developmental requirements like site plan design, architecture, water usage. It has screening limitations, and then light and design shielding as well. And it's got a lot of land and design control. Compared to Bernalillo County C1, ours is way more restrictive. So Bernalillo County allows for up to 4,000 square feet. Their smaller base back sets are only 5 feet compared to our 20, 10, and 15. And then they increase it whenever there's adjacent to residents. So those are a couple of comparisons between what this zoning currently is, which is C1, and what Bernalillo County C1 is.
affecting us all the way up. All the way up. I mean, you can go all the way to say you have an effect all the way to Madrid. So it's affecting all of that area. So the first thing I want to bring up is, let's say they put in a gas station. Okay. The data says that there will be thousands of people are going to pull up, not just hundreds, thousands. Anytime you put a name brand, you get anywhere from 8 to 20,000 people a day pulling off the freeway. Because I know what the intention is doing. You want to put a big sign up there, whatever, I won't say a brand. Here's a big gas station here, pull over. There's also a Denny's. There's also whatever, so pull off of here. So we're looking at anywhere from increase from 8 to 20,000. I would anticipate from where we're at, and it's rural and people will want to stop there before they go down into Albuquerque, you may be looking at 10,000 people pulling off a day. So just imagine that when you change this to C2, I was looking at one of the gas stations that's been mentioned. They only need 6,000 feet to make it a major trucking stop. So now we have semis pulling off. Imagine all of these cars pulling off of the freeway, going up that way, the huge increase in traffic, which is concerning. But we have even a bigger issue. I-40, I'm trying to make it a speed corridor because we just had a Burlington County sheriff murdered. I'm going to say murdered, so I'm going to use that word, on the freeway by a semi-truck driver who ran into the back of his truck and killed him. Because we have so many deaths on that freeway and so many accidents, that it's going to qualify for trying to slow people down. Hopefully, if we don't, we now have people coming down this where I've had truckers on me at 85 miles an hour, at like an inch away from my bumper, and they're going to be going on and off the freeway. So now I see an increase in the traffic, increase in fatalities, increase in incidents happening on the freeway. So
the increase would be on the exit because the freeway is going to have the same amount of traffic, isn't it?
No. If you have,
It's going to increase.
Okay, you put a big sign, turn here, Maverick gas station, Denny's, whatever, all these amenities here. From the data that I was looking at, thousands of people are now extra going to pull off the freeway.
Yeah, on the exits. Yeah.
And they get back on. I mean, they're not going to go anywhere. So they're getting on and getting off the freeway. So I'm seeing an increase. I'm at this point where I'm trying to make it a safety corridor. And now I have more trucks pulling on and off. Do we have water? Maybe water. You guys need a podium.
I know, right?
Okay. So I'm very concerned about that issue of this huge increase. Now, here's the other bad news. If you guys put in a gas station with a convenience store, according to the FBI, that those are the highest risk locations for crime for the FBI and account for 63,000 violent crimes a year, and 5% of all violent crimes nationwide and carjackings occur at these gas stations. So now we have a big increase in crime. We need to talk to law enforcement. How is that going to play into us having this increase of traffic, increase of people that may need to be pulled over and given tickets, and then increase crime? Because the other thing that happens at these, 5% of all violent crimes occur there, and 8,000 robberies per year. So it's all, you can look that all up. That's all data.
Is that at all?
That is across the nation.
Okay.
So I'm just saying that we're going to end up logistically with traffic and crime. So I'm trying to make this a safety corridor. I'm seeing this is going to become more of an issue. So what I'm hearing, and from myself too, I worry about that crime, and I worry about light pollution, all the excessive lights, the sewer. When you guys go to expand that, and I haven't even got to that, if you expand that, coming down that highway, people go very fast. So you're going to have to figure out how to slow them down to either have a roundabout or a light. And then when you do all this building, you're going to have to put sidewalks, you have to put another turn lane. So there's a massive amount of work, and I feel like we're putting the cart before the horse. So those are most of the issues that I had on crime and the traffic.
And as far as traffic goes, we're definitely putting the cart before the horse there, because NMDOT won't let that site be developed, like period, without doing traffic studies, without putting in acceleration lanes, deceleration lanes, putting in the sidewalks, putting in all that kind of stuff. I know, right? Like, I'll give you a second to take a drink while I'm talking. But NMDOT will not let that be developed, period.
Okay,
they won't
so
give them an entrance to that site unless the owner actually goes through all all the cost of creating that site into a very
Okay, so
safe.
who
way.
ends up paying for that? Is it gonna be the taxpayers or the city of Tijeras?
No, the owner and the developer.
Okay.
Yeah, we
And-
had that
and-
same sort of thing happen right over here on South 14 or 337. You know the building, right? The one with the orange stripe around it. Guessing everyone here knows the building. The owner of that site, when their site was changed to CB2, had to put that deceleration lane just so she could get a single entrance. She had 2 entrances before, and they stopped her on that as well and took the 2 entrances away because they wouldn't let her put anything in there until she had just a single entrance. Same thing with Molly's. When we went through and put the sidewalks in front of Molly's on our pedestrian, they only gave her those 2 entrances because it's 2 different lots. Okay, so otherwise she would have only had a choice of having a single entrance. So NMDOT forced us to do that as we were putting the sidewalks through, and the sidewalks was our project, so we footed the bill on that. But we took away 3 entrances that she had. So NMDOT will not let us do anything. They won't let a land developer do anything. They won't let the owner of this property do anything without running through like a ridiculous amount of studies and forcing them to do it.
Right, and thank God for those studies because
Yeah.
it would okay for them to do that. But the point that I'm trying to make is that this stretch of freeway is one of the most dangerous stretches of freeway in the nation. We just had a sergeant killed on this highway. There was another fatality in the same spot, I think yesterday. So we have issues with that, and I'm working right now to try to get them to slow down. But in the meantime, my concern is people are ripping down there. If they end up, because they can do whatever they want, they can make it a 6,000 square foot trucker stop. We have trucks now stopping, we have people stopping, there's big signs out there, we're getting this influx of traffic. So I have belabored that point.
Well, they can't do whatever they want because everything under our CB2 zoning is conditional, meaning they still have to come to us and we put any conditions we want on them.
Okay, would that lead me to GRT tax? If you guys need the GRT tax for your city, what's to say you're not going to stop and say, oh, wait, we get this amount with this, but with a truck stop, we're going to get this amount of GRT. So where do I get the balance out of this? Where's that balance found?
Well, my assumption would be that this body, this governing body, would have the best interests of our own community in mind. That would be my assumption.
And that's what I hope for. That's what I'm here for.
Those who definitely do, and those who definitely do as well.
Right.
And as far as GRT goes, like, yeah, we can always use more GRT. Ringgold County can use more GRT. The state can use more GRT. We all can, right?
Thank God for oil and gas.
that's
That's our GRT.
a permanent fund that they won't let us touch. I hate that, right? But
Anyways, no, I'm not saying that you guys wouldn't. I'm just saying, where's the line for me? Because I just have a lot of concerns, but I just want to go through. I'm going to move ahead to the PFAS issue.
Representative Lord, before you move on, I'd like
No.
to just,
I did not yield my time.
how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Sorry, it's so weird because we all know each other, and I'm trying to be
it's
civil.
crazy, right? Yeah.
So,
Everybody knows everybody.
so with the conditional use and how every business would have to come to us, you guys don't, not every person in this room knows us up here, but we are all, 3 of us of the 4 are born and we're generational, residents here to the village of Tijeras. And so we really want to protect our village. We want to protect our water. And then also Councilman Barnes has lived here for over 40 years. So I know there's not any, super reassurance there, but we do have the same overall vision, as we do want to protect our community. So I just want to note that.
And just
35 plus myself.
just no, I'm putting all my issues out there for you guys to address or not. I'm just treating you like I would any other representatives up at the house. Or
Yeah,
if you're used
and
to
that's why this is more.
I'm
of an
actually
open
being
forum
nicer.
Kind of.
I normally am.
This is an open forum kind of speaking, right? That's
Thank
why he's addressing you, we're addressing you. Everyone here and all council members definitely feel free to speak whenever.
Representative
Oh,
Lord,
sure. Yes.
just along the same lines as the Councilor Ortiz over there. We just, I guess we would hope that the surrounding community would have a little bit of faith in us. That, just like he said, we are, my grandparents were born and raised here. My father, all my family's been here all their lives for the most part, right? And have a little confidence in us that we're going to make sure the right thing is done.
I know you guys, so don't think I'm accusing. I'm just bringing up things that the people have brought to me and concerns that I have. Because look, I'm jaded from being in politics. Everybody can tell me whatever they want, and then they turn around and do the opposite of what they said they were gonna do. Nothing personal, but I mean, this is what I'm used to. So do you guys have any stipulations on the growth? Meaning this becomes C2. Do you guys have anything written or in your plan? Because I did look at your plan. It's like from 2002. You guys have a Tijeras online. I found a Tijeras plan. Do you have?
the long-term plans you mean?
Yes.
Oh, nothing in those long-term plans, I believe.
Okay. Is there anything like if you guys said to us, okay, we have already in our ordinances and our rules that if we pass this, we would not do something, or we would bring it to the people, or would somehow bring it to a vote. Is there anything to assure that confidence to the people that's in writing?
It's the singular first line under CB2, that there is no permissive use whatsoever under CB2. It's all conditional, and it all has to go through actually my zoning body first,
Right.
and then my council body as well. So, or every council body from now on. So aside from that, I mean, like
Do people have anybody have a say so in that, or is it a decision that you guys just make? Like, can the people come again and say, look, we really don't want a truck stop. If you're going to do this in Forsyth, we don't want a truck stop.
So they can come and speak at meetings and things like that, same as this kind of stuff. And then, like, I'm sure we would take people into account. Like, I'm sure we'd take into the idea of, I mean, I don't want like, what do they look like? Things that don't look like our mountain. So I know everyone here has probably seen Triangle Grocery, right? So it's actually built to kind of form the architecture of the mountain behind it, right? Like it looks like that. It has the same colors, things like that. It's, you know, it's hospitable and like the aesthetics of it look good.
Right. The Bernalillo County corridor has all of that. I don't know. Have you guys looked at that, at the Bernalillo County corridor plan? That's something you guys should definitely look at because it talks a lot. Yeah, the North 14. Yes.
North 14.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so we have those issues, and these are all concerns we have because it's scary. I mean, you guys you're making a huge change. You're going from 1,000 square foot to 20,000 square foot. It only takes 6,000 square feet to make a huge trucker stop that then brings trucks on and off the freeway that I already have concerns about, increases the traffic and all the changes that need to go with that and the crime. So I think I pretty much addressed it. See, everybody's like, yeah, shut up, Representative Ward. We'd like to talk now.
PFAS.
Okay.
PFAS.
PFAS. Okay, so I am on the Radioactive Waste and Hazardous Committee, so I hear about this every single day. So in case people don't know, it is a forever chemical. It does not ever go away. To get it literally cleaned out, you're talking probably 10, 20, $30 million. So nobody's doing that anymore. You're doing the filtration systems. So just so everybody knows that exposure to PFAS has serious health risks, including cancer, immune suppression, hormonal disruption, and developmental issues. It's a very serious thing. And you guys, I don't know how you guys have such a high level. I talked to the environmental department and
we're trying to figure it out too, and we got a pretty good idea, but yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, because I talked to the head of the environmental department, he's like, we have no idea, but you guys are looking at having to spend a couple $1 million on these too. So I want to make sure that you know that when you move forward, which you're going to have to do anyways, because you got 541 people are drinking from that well. So 541 people have access to it. So those people also need to be alerted. You know, there's no alert system for PFAS in the state, just so you know. So you guys are going to have to put in a filtration system. And the filtrations are huge tanks, multiple tanks. They are gravel and filtration. And by the time it goes through those tanks, then it can be retested to show what the PFAS levels are. So just know that you're looking at millions of dollars. You know, I already talked about the grant you can get and the loans.
And then loans, 1% loans.
Yeah, 1% loans. So that.
You want me to save you some time?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah. So
because PFAS is very serious.
Yes, no, absolutely. So the high levels coming out of our well 3. Okay. The other one has a little bit in it, and the one has absolutely none in it.
Why well 3?
So that's a very good question.
Thank you.
What we've done at this point is we've taken well 3 offline. We're no longer pumping well 3 into our tanks anymore. Right, so we're not going to have PFAS in it as soon as this portion runs out. Estimated it's like maybe 2 to 3 days. And we took the tanks down last Monday.
So the one tank, okay. So does that change the amount of water that you have accessible because you're no longer using that tank?
Not really. So
not really.
Not really. It's a well.
The 2 wells that we have feed the entire community, and
Turn on who's speaker? Oh, turn on your speaker. Yeah.
the 2 wells that we have feed the entire community.
There you go.
There you go. You have to have the green
Wells
light.
that we have feed the entire community, and
The 3 wells we have.
we don't deplete them at all. I mean, the replenish rate is still appropriate for.
Does that change the amount of accessible water that you thought you had in the beginning?
Not for long. So
So how did the PFAS get into that in the first place?
That's a very good question. That's where I'm getting
Okay,
to. So, what my water operators are estimating is we have a bladder system between it because on the raw water, when we test it, we're not getting those levels of PFAS. And after treatment, we're getting high levels of PFAS. So in that bladder system that it's going through, post-treatment,
leaching out of there.
exactly.
Okay.
So
Yeah, because everything, this even has PFAS.
so
Dental
exactly.
floss has PFAS. Frying pans have
Our
PFAS.
current plan, right, is to pull the tank down or pull the well down, which has already been pulled down. We're going to do a bypass change from the treatment system that we're using currently, the same treatment system that we're using on the other two wells. Then we're going to bring it back up. We're going to test the wells, test at raw and then test post and see if we are still getting PFAS.
Okay.
So that's the idea.
So the other two wells don't have any PFAS in them.
The one has the tiniest minute amount, like it's
Or it's parts per trillion.
Yeah,
Okay.
parts per trillion. It's acceptable amounts, right? And then the one well has none whatsoever.
The hazard index is 1.0, and the one well that does have PFAS is at a 0.4.
Yeah,
So
I
it's
figured
three.
pretty much. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. For people that
so-
don't know, there's acceptable levels because there's PFAS in this. Every time you go to
Everything.
Subway, sorry, I shouldn't say a specific place. Anytime you go to a fast food place, they wrap your food and stuff that's PFAS. Even when you go to Trader Joe's, all of your boxed food and there's coated in PFAS. So
Yes.
it's literally
It's
everywhere.
yeah, it's
But
great.
I don't want people drinking excessive amounts of it. Because,
Exactly.
Okay.
So that's kind of the plan at this point, right?
Okay.
And then on top of that, of course, we're still going to look into getting the grants and doing treatment on because all of our water is blended water. So making it to where it's just one distribution and then treating after that.
Okay, so that leads to the issue of, is there going to be, if let's say you guys decide, yes, we want a truck stop, we're gonna have 5,000-6,000 people pulling in the day, getting water, flushing toilets, getting ice and all that stuff, is there gonna be enough water for that?
Yes.
For how, somebody said how long?
So, well, especially once we bring well 3 back up, it has excessive capabilities of creating water. They run it at 100 gallon a minute, 24 hours a day for like 7 days straight, and it never had a cone of depression. When
Yeah, I was just about to ask that, if there, okay, because I
so
know you have
our
an old,
engineers we have to do all that kind of testing when we drill the well, right? That way they can tell us how much water we have. They said there was no cone of depression. So cone of depression is how much the well sucks down over the amount of time that they were running it for, at above.
do you guys test to see how much your wells go down each year? Because mine went down a foot last year. I'm not happy.
Yes. So we have sensors on them to determine if they go up, go down.
Okay, are they going up, going down, staying?
They're staying stable.
I think these are all things, you have to understand, water, as
Yeah.
we all know,
I know.
is a hot topic. I mean, a very hot topic because my well went dry. We have other people that are trying to take our water constantly. And I'm trying to think if they put this in and if you guys put housing in, the long-term effects.
Yeah.
So I think the last thing I want to end on is what we're the most concerned about and what I hear a lot of is changing our rural way of life. So you put this in, we got big lights, we got people coming in from out of the area. It's strictly to pull people off the freeway and bring them into our community. So now we have people coming, the increase in crime, and you guys should look up that FBI statistics on how incredibly high crime is. It's the highest in the nation when you have a truck, a gas station with a convenience store.
Yeah.
So now we have people that could be predators and people that are looking to hijack cars. It's going to change the whole dynamics. And why did we all move here? We love the East Mountains. We love the East Mountains. We love our rural way of life. And a lot of us are very concerned, including myself and including the constituents. I have to speak for them and partially myself, is that there's a big concern that you're going to change forever our rural way of life. We like it this way. We like Manzanita, little places that open. We like the mom and pop places. We like, you have roots. Is that correct? We like, we don't want somebody to come in and go put in a small grocery store that affects a triangle. We don't want anyone to come in to put in a chain store that affects, we don't want to have a huge impact. And this sounds like just such a huge impact on our people and our water and the sewer systems and our way of life that we love up here.
Yeah.
And
I understand.
20,000 square foot businesses sound huge. And it sounds like things that, from what I'm hearing in our community, that are things that the people don't want.
Yeah.
And so that is our biggest concern, is that we are going to forever change everything. And we have to remember, this is the entry, the corridor to the Turquoise Trail. And we want to make sure that we're not putting things in that affect that, and the traffic, and having people who may commit crimes and the water. I mean, there's just so many issues on this. That's why I'd asked you to move the meeting. But I do appreciate you put this forward. But then as I was talking to people, they all told me it's Palm Sunday. I will not be there. It's my family day.
I'm Catholic, and I realize that too.
Yes,
Hey.
bad Catholic. Sorry. All Catholics here are in trouble.
I realize
Never
that.
say
too,
Hail
so.
Mary after that. But on a serious note, this is a very big change.
It is.
And I hope that, I'm going to trust that you guys make the right decision that affects us. Because when you said the Bernalillo County 4,000 square feet, I'm like, well, that's at least better. But
Yeah.
I think putting in anything where we are having to worry about a big giant box, something coming in there is quite frightening to everyone in the East Mountains.
And I appreciate you saying, like, you hope you can trust us. I think you can. Again, we all live here too. We all love this community. We all want this community to kind of stay rural. But again, we need more development. And then this landowner, she purchased it for a reason, right? She purchased it to do stuff with it. And like what you would purchase a piece of commercial land, or what I would purchase a piece
I would buy commercial land up here. I wouldn't want to destroy. I would not. I'd buy it
I
down.
wouldn't do that.
I'd put it in Rio Rancho.
Put it in Rio Rancho.
Sorry. Yeah, we've all noticed the trees torn down and
Yeah.
everything. So
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
the biggest thing. So
Which same thing happened just up the street where, what is that, the Dollar General's going in?
yeah,
Yeah, but that's a permissive use too.
not
So
going down.
there's
that road.
nothing permissive use under RC2, meaning that permissive use went through just a quick zoning approval. It didn't have to go through a council. It didn't have to go through a complete zoning commission, anything like that to get approval. Anything that we put into that area will absolutely have to go through all those steps. And so, again, I appreciate you saying, like, you hope you can just trust us. And that's because there's nothing I think that anyone sitting at this table would do to damage us. Okay. We all want the same thing that everyone here wants.
Too. So you're going to have to learn how to be an ethical capitalist and
Exactly.
not destroy our beautiful community. And at the same time, if it's a GRT issue, take into consideration what we don't want.
No.
Always. Anyways, that's all that I have. I'll let other people talk.
I don't
Thank
think
you.
there'd be a problem taking people into consideration. I think we just, like you said, we need to develop our own spaces too. But
Thank you.
thank you. Perfect. Thank you, Ms. Stephanie. Let's see.
Again, I just had a quick question. May I?
Uh,
Quick question.
Yeah, go ahead, sir.
I'm not familiar with the process, so
Okay.
forgive me. Why not, you mentioned like a New Mexico Department of Transportation study.
Yeah.
Some other studies. Why not do those first to see if it's even feasible to, and then to give you guys a more
I understand.
educated, you know,
Idea.
to make an educated, informed decision on whether or not to change the zoning.
Yeah, so if we just propose to NMDOT that we want to change the zoning, that isn't sufficient enough for them to do a study. Because we could say, oh, we're going to change this zoning and try and get them to do it one place and say, oh, this place, that place. They won't just come up and do that for us. They probably won't even do a study until there's a site plan and a development plan and all kinds of other stuff. And then they'll start studying.
I feel like that's all backwards.
Sometimes, sometimes. But at that point, that's when you can start denying things. That's when you have to start changing things. That's when you have to start saying you can only have up to 5,000 square feet, that it'll only take this much traffic, that you can only create that much traffic per day, that kind of stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll just
Okay.
follow up a little bit on that myself, just a thought on that. The developer as well might not want to put these monies forward to get these traffic studies without knowing exactly what she might have options with as far as the zoning options. She does, the property owner does realize that she is going to have to go through significant studies, being all of what everybody's concerned about, and
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Thank you. All righty. So, go ahead, John.
Mayor, I think Audrey was trying to see if anybody else wanted to sign up for public comment. So if there's anybody in the halls or in here who has not signed up, now would be your opportunity.
Right, perfect. And while everybody's doing that, I'm gonna go ahead and give Ms. Rhodes, the person that owns this property, a chance to go ahead and speak to what her intent is and what she would like to do with this property and stuff. Charlotte? How you doing?
So I'm,
You can just hold it too. Yeah,
okay. So I appreciate the fact that everybody's here because this indicates that there's a strong community here and everybody wants to live in a place that has community. We don't want to be in our house isolated and not be connected. And I think that this is a strength of being up here. And I appreciate the fact that we're able to do it in this way and that you have a leadership within the council that is wise enough to include the voice of the people. And so I think that that's a good thing. So I run a youth program in Albuquerque. I've been a volunteer my entire life. I have 7 kids, 11 grandkids, and my day-to-day work is help kids as a volunteer. I do investments. I do real estate as a way that allows me to do more for the kids that I help. And we've had a lot of success. Our kids go to college, they get degrees, they get scholarships. And so we've been able to do a lot of work that has been very productive for our communities. And so I bought this property because I was driving to another property up the way because we want to build a gym. Our facility right now, we have a big building. Ours is 27,000 square feet, is a church, it's a school, it's a gym. And I think that you don't realize 20,000 square feet when you talk about like a building isn't as big as you think, like when you say 20,000 square feet. So any school is going to be much, much bigger than that. The grocery and the mall up there is much, much bigger than that. But I was looking for a place we could build a regular gym. A basketball court, just where they play, inside the lines, where you don't step out of the lines, is 5,000 square feet. So it's a very big process to build a gym, something that's indoors. You have to have a big facility to have a court. And so I was looking for a property down the way. Couldn't get the owners to communicate with us. I find out later it's actually a friend of my husband's. And we just couldn't get them to talk. So when I was driving home, I saw this property, called on it, and I spent about 10 months in the process of purchasing it. And in that 10 months, I came here, I came to village meetings, I spoke to the leadership. I'm like, what is it that the community needs? What is it that the community wants? I want to build a gym. I want to build my house. I want to hike. I spend a lot of time up there by myself and just hiking the area, having my coffee. I go to Cabra and I buy a scone and I walk up the mountain and I listen to praise and worship music, and it's just a beautiful place and I want to keep it that way. But at the same time, I understand business. I understand finance. In fact, that's one of the things we teach our kids is finance. And I understand that the only way that I've been able to do anything in the past is being able to leverage what I have to produce more. And so in our building that we have that's down right next to Presbyterian Hospital, we leverage that building with a school and a church so that I can run my youth program. That's the only way I could afford it. I don't get paid. I'm a volunteer. So the same thing with this property is that it's adjacent to a highway right next to an interstate. And I come from a small business family. My dad owned an office equipment company for his whole life, and he died at 97. I took care of him and my mom. And so I understand business. Every one of my family members, I'm one of 9 children. They're all business people, small business people. They all have big hearts and they all help to contribute to their communities. And so I understand that this is commercial land. It's adjacent to a highway. Small business serves the community in a lot of different ways. And so if you look on the back, like that's my dream board. Like I don't have a Walmart on my dream board. I don't have, we joke, he talks about Chili's. I don't have a Chili's on my dream board. But those are the types of things that I dream about, including a gym. I still want to hike on my land. I still want to be able to build a house for my family on my land. I still want to be able to have programs for kids. We bring our kids up here during the summer, we have a camp and we bring our kids up here and we hike and we do activities up on the land. So I still want to be able to do that. But I also understand business and I understand finance and I understand that none of this is free. You know, the access, the highway is free. You know, none of us have to pay really for accessing North 14 or interstate. And we get to go to Albuquerque and be there in 5 minutes. You know, we don't have to pay for that, but somebody does. True, yes, but the entire state pays and the nation. So we have correct. Right. But from the wider community.
Order, guys.
From the wider community. Everybody's taxes, agreed. I completely 100% agree with you. But from the wider community, right? So the thing is that there is some impact that business has on a small community that's positive. And I appreciate the fact that we have small businesses up here. I've visited them. I've talked to some of the owners. I've been able to say, okay, well, you know, they need more employees, that they have a hard time staying open for long hours or as many days because they don't have enough people to work, right? And so anything that I can do that can increase my institutional knowledge of your community so that we can give back is important. And I'm open to that. And that's why I put a box back there for you to put your ideas in, to put your comments so that I could take them home. And I can read them or communicate or have that kind of interaction with you. But when it comes down to it, I can't do anything. None of us can do anything without being able to leverage what we have to pay for those things, right? So they have to leverage what they have to provide you guys with all of the amenities, all of the things that you have within a small community. So I don't think that they want to constantly be going to the state legislature and asking for money that they're not contributing to, that they're not also.
No, we are. Yeah, no. Sorry.
I'm talking about developing businesses, small businesses that contribute to the GRT so that they can access those funds that then would come back. So it's not, you know, the roads are expensive, the community services are expensive. And so this is just a zoning question. This is can we build business along this interstate and along this highway? Can we build business? Every single project subsequent to that decision would come back here. Every single project would then have conditions that would have to be met by the people that you vote in to represent you, right? So I just want to extend the fact that I'm not your typical developer when it comes to people who are conscientious in their business, in their financial world, in their financial life. I think I might qualify for that, for the work that I do and how I use my money and the reasons I do business in the first place. But I'm not your typical developer. And so I'm doing this so that I can contribute to others.
And you also get money off the GRT from your lease, correct? So you're going to lease that, you get GRT back to you, correct?
I don't get GRT back to me if
You just get the lease.
Yeah.
Well, it depends
GRT
on
would
if
come
you
back
lease
to
it or
us.
you sell it. Correct. I mean, I would prefer to lease it because leasing financially is ongoing revenue that I could use then to do the things that I do for the kids and for the community. Sometimes that's possible, sometimes that's not. But regardless of whether I lease it or sell it, whoever is proposing the project would have to go through all of the steps with the roads, with the water, with the design, with the impact. The thing is this is actually giving you the control. This decision with the C2 is giving the community the control because there are safeguards. In every objection or every concern that you've had, there are safeguards at every step. And they're very costly. So it's not something that you could do ahead of time. They need to know exactly what's going in there, how it's going to be used, and then they can make the decisions based on fact and not conjecture.
This gentleman has a question right here.
Is your gym considered retail space? And you're saying that you need to have it rezoned in part because of your gym to make it big enough for a basketball court? is a gym considered retail space and it has to be zoned in order to construct that?
I believe so, because it
So
would be bigger.
depending
than
on the
1,000
usage
square
of it, if it was simply just a gym, like say the one here at Los Vecinos, right? Well, that doesn't create GRT, but the programs behind it, so the things they do in the small classrooms, stuff like that, that does create some GRT. So whenever they rent to people, whenever they there's been like yoga in there, and there's been not Pilates, but like Tai Chi and things like that. Well, that creates GRT.
So it sort of depends on what you want the gym space for. I mean, what it sounds like is that in order to build your gym, you want to leverage the property so you get revenue to support it, and you'll put in a marathon level truck stop in order to do that.
We're not talking about usage right now. We're just talking about the zoning. And so if it came, well, it gives the permission for them to come to here and ask. It gives them permission to say, this is a possible thing. Right. So that is one of the uses that, but it's not the only use. And I do not have any agreements with anybody at this point. But that is one of the uses that they could come back and ask for. Same as I could come back and ask for my gym.
Thank you. Yes.
I'm having a hard time, and I know this is about zoning, but I'm having a hard time correlating the gyms, which is great, good for you, with hundreds of semi-drivers who aren't the most responsible people. So that, it's hard for me to correlate the gym for kids with all the semis coming up. And you don't have to.
We real quick, if I may, we've never approved or talked about a truck stop with this council or the property owner that I'm aware. So that's a rumor that's been going around the East Mountains, and we are not for a truck stop whatsoever.
Not at all.
What's the February 7th application state specifically? A gas station filed
As an allowed use. Because that's what's
That's all we
in.
know is what's in writing. You speak about wonderful buildings you want to put in, but we're quite satisfied with our small local CB1 entities. We don't want the local Chevron being put out of business. It's less than
Well,
one.
I would say that that's kind of cutting them short, because I think there's another gas station a little bit further than them. And it really makes you bet as a small business person, I think that competition does not put you out of business. Competition makes you better. So I wouldn't say that that's because the gas station here, but I wouldn't cut that owner short. Like, I think that owner is probably.
Charlotte, give me a quick sec. So I just want to kind of express to everyone here has probably been a Burger Boy, right? Everybody knows Burger Boy. Anybody know about how big that place is? How much square footage is in there? 1,500 square feet, right? Could you imagine having another tiny little thing like that right here? I mean, what is it? Trail Rider up the street, they're probably cracking out 3,500, 4,000 square feet, maybe more at this point, including the kitchen. Small eateries are very difficult to have, right? And I know you guys are talking about a gas station or an eatery or things like that, but 1,000 square feet is smaller than the inside of this room that we're sitting in. That's, I mean, you can only have 70 people at any given time. You can only, that's kind of what we're talking about. I in no way feel that this council or any subsequent councils would approve 20,000 square feet under any circumstances whatsoever, right? That just seems ridiculous at this point. So that's, I think, what she's trying to get at is she does need the C2 to even be able to develop into any larger kind of areas. And I think that's what we're trying to talk about here too. I got like 3 people,
But
guys.
she knew the zoning
Give me a
when she
second.
bought it. She knew what the zoning was when she bought it.
Yeah. This is not the
Keep
first
this orderly.
time.
Keep it orderly, please.
Come on, guys. This is not the first time that we've changed a CB1 to a CB2. This happens pretty frequently. I mean, I think that's the only changes that we have done from CB1 to CB2. Those owners knew as well, right? And so we changed those for those kind of people because they needed to have space where they could do larger eateries than 1,000 square feet, where they could put in multifamily housing if they wanted, things like that. Guys, hold on one second. The lady in the far back right there. No, the one right behind you. Sorry, go ahead. And yeah.
What could be going to happen with this course.
Yes. Would you like a mic?
To me, I see this as the burden of proof lies with the applicant to show a prevailing public necessity. I don't do any of it.
It broadcasts everywhere if you could use it.
I'm seeing this as the burden of proof lying with this applicant who knew the zoning prior to purchase. We should know what this necessity is. What are the plans? We're talking in a lot of hypotheticals here, and I don't know what the necessity is.
Yeah, I absolutely understand,
There's
but
a
you
large
can't make any plans until like we change it. Otherwise, what's the point in making the plan?
Right. So what we do know is,
You're right, lots of hypotheticals going on.
what we do know is we would need some independent third-party studies done.
Yes.
A comprehensive traffic impact study, a detailed hydrological assessment of the area to move forward with anything large scale. And I would hope that the council and mayor, you would ask this of the applicant prior to changing the zoning. This is a huge decision has irreversible impacts.
That all is absolutely 100% required by law. Okay, all those studies are, but like I said before, DOT won't even look at it and say on a hypothetical what they wouldn't do a study on a hypothetical for us. Right? She would have to produce a plan. Right? There's no point in producing a plan unless the zoning is able to be used for that. You see what I'm saying?
I completely understand. I actually have a background and degree in architecture and planning.
Oh. So it's like
I see a room full of people here. I think a lot of people want to speak.
Yeah.
I think we'd all like to know what the sentiment is. We have an applicant that's very pro for changing the zoning, and I hope we can hear from others.
Yeah, we're absolutely going to hear from everybody. Zach, you're up, man. I know. And then I'm coming back over this way, and then I'm going to start working through this, and you're going to be first down. Okay. Go ahead, brother.
Hi, my name is Zach Withers. I was born and raised here in these mountains. I am a local business owner. I operate a small business about 2 miles up the road in about a 1,500 square foot building. And we bought another building to expand into about 5,000 square feet. So I have lots of point of reference on what the implications of this decision are. The things I'd like to point out is that opposition to you granting these legal rights is not based on a mistrust in you. I actually like to express my deep appreciation for the way that you guys have been totally transparent. You had a town hall meeting before they even applied to have tomorrow's meeting, and now you're having this meeting. Like, that's really great, and I appreciate it.
We're trying to do our due diligence, yeah.
And I will stand, but I stand in opposition to granting this zoning change. 1,000 square feet is pretty limiting, but 20,000 square feet sounds like an invitation to large corporate, big chain store type businesses to come in, which is, I don't think, what anybody wants. I'd also point out that there is not actually anything preventing the property owner from developing the property right now. You have an alternative route called the special use permit, which they could accomplish any of their goals that they want to accomplish without granting a permanent legal entitlement on that property that runs contrary to, I believe, what the majority of people in this community want to see when it comes to economic development. We want more local small businesses. 5,000 square feet would be, a good gauge for what that looks like. 20,000 square feet raises red flags.
When we went through initially and started doing our zoning code and stuff like that, our zoning commission, they've done lots of trainings, lots and lots of trainings. We've been through lots of trainings. The majority of higher educated people than me say that we should not do all that very many special use, that we should always try and stick with something like this where it's in writing already, because once we start special use, we get into a real slippery slope of showing favoritism, like creating situations where people say that we do things for the benefit of some people, but not for other people. So they kind of try and turn us away from doing special use necessarily, and try and have us do standard code, right? Which I mean, if that's the thing too, like everybody's so, if it's the 20,000 feet that's killing people, right? Why don't you guys all come here and ask us to change the zoning code?
That's what I was going to do next.
Okay, like
That is honestly what I think would be a smarter move here.
which is not a bad idea either, right? Because if the 20,000 feet is scaring everybody to death, we could knock it down to 7,000, 5,000, whatever that happens to be, right? Whatever we discuss, and all the meetings that we went through where we came up with 20,000, and 20,000 was come up with probably 30 years ago, and like long before me even. But we just left it in there because we figured, okay, 20,000 square feet, there's not, that's not that crazy of a thing. It's not like you're putting it in an Intel or something, right? But why not have that discussion? And we can make that, we can make that impose on them even after we change the zoning code, right? So even if we, I don't think
yes and no, Mayor.
to it. I don't think she could beat me to it. I think I could get it done a lot quicker. But
Well, Mr. Mayor, I'll just point out that counselors come and go.
I know.
Property owners come and go. Legal entitlements stick around.
Yeah.
Part of the water situation that we're facing up here is because the zoning commission decided to permit about 100 times more development than we have water to support. And that's the reality we're all going to have to deal with for the rest of time. And more decisions to encourage more development without properly thinking through what the long-term implications of that are. I understand there's some systematic things you guys are not in control of, but I would strongly encourage you to realize that denying this decision for a zoning application does not in any way reduce the developability of the property. It doesn't prevent the things happening in this community that we all want to see and want to support. You're be mindful that the implications of this will outlive your career, and please do give it good consideration. And I'll shut up so somebody else can talk.
And I'm absolutely with you. Thank you very much, Zach. Daniel, would you like to speak next, bud? And I'm absolutely with you. It's going to outlive us for sure, but hopefully you all as constituents continue to vote in capable individuals to represent this community. Go ahead, brother.
Thank you. My name is Daniel. I'm also a business owner here in Tijeras. I also grew up here, and going to echo a lot of the same sentiment. I think also opposed to the zoning change. From a small business perspective, I think just opening the doors to larger corporate developments is asking for, the quelling of small businesses and kind of putting a damper on positive development. I know there's ways around. It doesn't necessarily mean there's going to be large corporate businesses, but that's kind of what we're opening the door to. So echoing Zach's sentiment, I think it's just something that we really need to be careful with in opening the doors for something that we don't really want. I have talked to hundreds of customers and friends and everybody up and down the mountain, and I've yet to hear a single person that says they're really in support of adding corporation here in Tijeras or anywhere along this corridor, honestly. So, of course, from a small business perspective, or the owner of a small business, competition can be beneficial, but when we're opening the door to have larger corporations come in, it's a little bit frightening as a community to see that. We see it up and down where there isn't as much zoning control, where larger corporation comes in, and then all of a sudden the entire community is kind of washed out by, I don't need to name the actual stores, but we can all drive up and down the freeway, and we don't want Tijeras becoming one of these washed out communities with not a whole lot of soul left. And so I think I can stop there. I just want to.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you for comments for sure. And I believe this council definitely is taking that into account. I don't see in any way they're not. Thank you, sir. That's a- Is that? Want a moment? Yeah.
My name is Donna Torres. I live on Torres Trail, one of two homes on that street. And I absolutely oppose this because it's going to ruin our rural environment. It's going to open up the door for all kinds of things once you change it. And the property owner bought this property knowing that it was a C1. Now she wants to change it to a C2. And I admire that she wants to keep it rural and small. But what's to stop her from selling it, and some big corporations come in and they flatten the whole thing and build these huge buildings and just ruins our
No,
rural
I understand your
environment.
concern. This governing body is what's going to stop. And like I said, if that's the case too, we can definitely start discussing the idea of lowering the number of square footage for zoning and making everyone adhere to that if she sells, right? So I understand what you're saying. Or we can change the one and bump it up. Exactly. Alejandro Armenta. How you doing, brother? Zach, thank you for being the unofficial runner. Appreciate that, man.
Thank you, Representative Lord, for making this a little more tall inclusive. Oh,
yeah.
Okay, so kind of just to start, she is currently C1, correct?
Yes.
A CB1. So just which ordinance are you going off of? Are you going off of the 2020 or the 2023? Which one?
The one that's in the codex, published online right now. So I believe that's the most recent one, 23.
The one that's on the Tijeras, New Mexico website?
Yes.
Okay, so that one actually doesn't say anything about 1,000 square feet. And I think where you're getting this 1,000 square feet is from the one before. That one's somewhere else. I found it, but I have it if you want it. That's the one that talks about the 1,000 square feet. And for CB1, it actually only talks about the 1,000 square feet for 3 types of establishments.
Yeah.
One is an eating and drinking establishment. Another is, so that's eating and drinking and urgent care. Those are the only times it talks about 1,000 square feet. It doesn't talk about 1,000 square feet when talking about home businesses, public and private schools, churches and incidental facilities, recreational facilities, just like that, gym, family daycare home, temporary real estate, non-commercial library. You get the point.
Yeah.
So essentially, I don't
The other things
understand
that are listed there, right?
why we need that when if she just wants to build a gym, she can do that because a gym is a recreational facility, is it not?
It is, but let me look up the codex right now. What do you got there?
And
this is the one you're getting at, right? Can I turn that around and let him see this?
This is municipal codification online.
Okay.
So
this is what our law is right now. But
So I'm only mentioning this one because the newer one doesn't say anything about the 1,000.
Yeah.
Which is what you referenced in these sheets you made. So that's why I'm referencing that one.
Let me look for it.
It does mention the 20,000, but it doesn't mention the 1,000 for the CP1.
I'm just looking over it. Sorry, guys. And to your question though, what are you trying to say that?
I'm trying to say that I don't understand why she needs this if what she wants to do is build a gym.
Or put in a law office and then there'd be no limit on it? Or are you saying because of the ambiguity in what you're reading or saying that's the code right now, which it quite possibly might be, but are you saying the ambiguity would give her the option to build something considerably larger?
Yeah, and for law office, did you mention law office?
Yeah, law office.
That's under 11 business services or 14 financial services. So that's also going to have to be 1,000 square feet.
Yeah.
So then if we go to the map, someone mentioned, I think. So her commercial's here. I mean, not commercial. Her land is here in red. And all the way down here, you have to look really closely. I can go over here.
Los Vecinos isn't in the community.
Well, it's on the map.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So this is her land. And this right here is Los Vecinos. So that's the gym. And this is her land. So it's a lot bigger than just a gym, obviously, that she wants to build. Another thing is I don't know who mentioned it, but that the Maverick or the truck stop thing was just a rumor. I think where that came from is at a meeting, she mentioned that she had been in talks with Maverick. So it's not really just a rumor. It's actually something that she was in talks with. I understand that there's no agreement right now.
Yeah.
But that's definitely something that could come up in the future. There's a couple more things if I can just find them. So for the CV2 that you want to change to, it actually says directly in the code that it may generate 100 or more vehicles per day.
Yeah.
So that's what a CV2 is for. And this is any vehicle. This is trucks. This is all kinds of things. So that's what CV2 allows for, is hundreds of vehicles. I know there's hundreds of vehicles as there is, but this is hundreds more. So yeah, just that thing about the 100,000 square feet, that's because that's only for eating, drinking, and urgent care.
Yeah.
And then also, I know we mentioned a lot about economic growth, but do you know exactly how much economic growth this would bring? What the percentage we would get?
We know the tax rate that we get. We don't know how much it would create though. That's nothing we can predict unless she starts actually developing it, and then we start determining it after that. We know things like when we lose businesses, how much we lose, right? But we don't know, we can't predict what we're going to be gaining explicitly unless we know how much she's going to be developing, right? And it's all frontage along there. So if she puts in, 30 little 1,000 square foot businesses all across the frontage, right? And she rents each one of them out, and we'd have to do a lot of work on that, right? So we don't know until she's developed it or starting to develop it, proposes development.
So going back to CV2, which is kind of the whole reason why we're here. So just to direct your attention to the Division 6 CV2 it's a little bit older. It's the largest individual business or retail should not exceed 20,000 square feet of the total 136,000 square feet making up the site development. Essentially what this is saying here is that one business can't be more than 20,000, and the whole thing, so if it was like a strip mall, it could be
site development
136 square feet. So this is a lot bigger than just a gym or just a small thing, correct?
Yeah, well, exactly, because site development is going to definitely be larger. Yeah, because parking lots and storage areas or trash receptacles, things like that. So yeah.
So then also, I know we mentioned a lot about if she were to go to CV2, then she would have to come back with a plan.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things here, stuff like lighting and 10,000 and voided. But this says a lot about rural development. But who decides what rural development is? It's the council,
governing body,
right?
yeah.
But as someone said, we don't know who's going to be in here forever.
Hopefully it's you shortly, but
we don't know.
Yeah.
So opening the door to CV2, doesn't that open the door to a ton of more development that could be interpreted however the future councils want to interpret it?
Okay. There's still a lot of CV2. Okay, so that's kind of my point here, is the reason why we wouldn't change. Right across the street, that big yellow spot right next to that big red spot is CV2 already. So it's already that way. So is everyone concerned that we're going to be developing that spot right there into something very large that is not community oriented or rural community? It's a huge spot right there. Right? Hopefully. Huh? It's owned by APS right now.
It's the one that's on the northern side of the freeway.
Yes. Well, so south of her property, north side of the freeway. Yes.
So impossible to develop it?
It's not impossible to do anything like that, no. Same thing with the APS property.
Back to the CB2 thing. CB2 does allow these projects, and as far as I know, and also like national precedent and like in like Minnesota and Utah and stuff, I've been like looking at it. If she fits these requirements, so if she fits the things like the lighting and these things, there's nothing really that the council can do if she's fitting these things, because if you don't, just because of community disruption, or the community doesn't like a Maverick or a Chili's, there's nothing you can do about it because it's seen as arbitrary or prejudicial.
Well, we can put conditions above and beyond what that says. That's why it's all conditional use.
Is there anywhere in the code that says that you can add things when they come for approval?
That we can put any condition we
Like
want.
add conditions more than what's in here?
Like that's why that's considered conditional use.
So the conditions aren't just what's in the, because what I'm
no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's more than just the, because there's conditions listed here. And my impression is that if they meet the conditions here, then they can develop it.
No.
Is that not true?
No. Above and beyond that, we could have put whatever sort of conditional use we want. That's that rule fit of the community. So we can change all of those conditions to whatever we want. So they need to meet all of those at a minimum, and then we can put above and beyond conditions onto them that they have to meet before they can develop.
Okay. Let me just make sure I don't have any other questions.
Sure thing, brother.
I understand what you're saying, but to piggyback off what he's saying, isn't that still considered prejudicial? I mean, if you just arbitrarily make certain conditions for this project but not make the same conditions for another project?
No, not necessarily. So that's why it's called condition. That's why we moved everything into conditional use, everything in C2 into conditional, so we could put those there instead of having like CB1 where there's permissive uses where we can't stop someone from building a building if they meet those requirements, okay, under those permissive requirements. We can't stop anyone. Under C2, we can put any conditions we want on there because we want it to look a certain way in a certain area, in our community. So we can put conditions onto them.
And back to something else he said that on the newest, maybe I misunderstood.
Yeah, and I was looking for it right now too. I didn't find it.
Because if that's true, then there's a lot to be said for that.
Because on the first page of the new code, it says all that is in section 26 is null and void, but there's nothing in the 1000 in the new one that says that. So if this is null and void, where's the 1000 that we keep talking about?
Under
this is
1000 that we keep talking about is under conditional use. So that's where we put it.
What page is it on?
26,470. Yeah.
Okay.
And that's
Okay.
where it's mentioned the most there. Yeah.
Kind of like a table. Is it the table?
Yeah, it's a full codex.
Oh, okay.
Turn it around for him, yeah.
Oh, okay. So this is the 2020. This is the 2022 one, correct? That's what it says there. 2022 current.
Okay.
With the one on there says 2022.
This is the most current. This one's the most updated one that we have ever published. It's we went through Unicode and put all of our ordinances together, and then we eliminated a lot of the language that was contrary to each other, all that kind of stuff. They took year to do it almost, maybe longer. Yeah.
Okay.
So
just because what I'm seeing on the website is if you click on section 26 on the Tijeras, it takes you to a document passed by the 4th of December with you. Yeah, with you as the mayor and then Nick Kennedy as the village clerk.
So it probably is we started it in 2022 and then we approved it in 2023 as the codex for our community.
Okay. So I guess if that's true, then I just ask you update the website, because on the website PDF, there's nothing now. It says 1,000 square feet.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, that was pretty much it. And then kind of just to close, one thing is the CB2. I really don't understand, and I think it goes for a lot of us here. I didn't understand why she needs CB2 just to develop things when the only things that she can't develop right now with 1,000 square feet is the eating and drinking establishments. And there's tons of other stuff she can do, especially this gym she keeps mentioning. I think that's a wonderful idea that she can do that under CB1. So kind of just to close out, I just want to echo what Representative Ward said. I just ask that we do trust the council, but we also want to express our concerns. And I just ask you guys to be ethical capitalists.
Thank you. No, I appreciate that. Ramon Garcia. Stacking everything. They got it here. Yeah. And we're live streaming too. And Ramon, gonna need you to use the mic. I'm sorry. You can take it off and walk around.
Oh, okay. I got into politics 55 years ago. And when I got into politics, I was only 18. And when I was 18 years old, they wanted to put this freeway through here. And guess what? We had so many people from the East Mountain sign a petition saying they didn't want it. They even have my mom and dad sign it. I came from Albuquerque where I live. I said, Mom and Dad, take your freaking name off that. He says, we need I-40. Because from Albuquerque to right here, it was 2 lanes going east. And then it went to 1 lane. Coming from the east to right here was 1 lane. Then it turned to 2 lanes going to Albuquerque. There was more wrecks right there. You could shake a stick at. And they said, well, yeah, you need a freeway. Because why? We're going to grow. America is going to grow. Just like California, Chicago. I said, you go to those places, man, they're jam-packed. And we're lucky that we have the freeway. When they made North 14 to 4 lanes, oh no, we can't do that. They're going to destroy the East Mountain. And everybody drives it. I was happy because there was just as many accidents because it was 1 road going to San Diego Crest, 1 lane, and 1 lane coming back. I've always been for growth. I've never stopped. All these people that make businesses up North 14, Old Highway 66, build it. I need it. I want my tax dollars in New Mexico. I want them in the village. Santa Fe, wherever. South 14, the same way. It was only 2 lanes going to Chile, 1 lane and 1 lane back, going to Chile. And so we're going to make it 4 lanes. 2 lanes going to, oh no, they're going to destroy the rural area. I said, holy, come on. I want my tax dollars here. And here in the village, I'm a planning and zoning commissioner. I voted for this young lady to go to CB2. Because I already have CB2s in a few areas right over there. And there's nothing wrong with her. Because these guys and the Planning and Zoning Commission are the ones that are going to decide what you're going to put, how big you're going to put it. We're going to decide. We ain't no dummies. We ain't stupid. You know? But look, I seen it. When I was a kid, Highway 66 went up that way. We had, for the transportation is now, that used to be all stores, all the way to Zuzak. But when I-40, when they put the freeway there, they went out of business. And a lot of people, like I said, they didn't want it. They're going to take our house. They're going to do that. And I said, Dad, no. If you will go to the meeting and say, we are going to locate you, buy you a land, put you a new house and everything, the federal government. Let us see Maddie, you know, down here, our relatives, they'll have new houses. I have one, my dad's cousin. We didn't have toilets when I was a kid. I didn't have a toilet right here. I live right here. I used to have to go with my truck, my dad's truck, my sister and my brother with 250-gallon drums, get water from the arroyo and bring it up to the house. And that's what we drank. We didn't have a well. No, I remember my dad's cousin. I took my dad to his, look, Modesto, look what I got. She goes, what? Look, I don't have to go outside to the well to get my water. I just turn this knob. That's progress. This lady was 89 years old, my dad's cousin. And look, Modesto, I don't have to go outside to the toilet. I can go right here and look. Look at that. Progress. I've always been for progress. And I'm gonna stay with progress. And I just asked the mayor and the council, we in the zoning commission voted and we sent our decision to them. Now it's up to them. And I just asked the Lord Jesus to help him and guide him to decide what they want to do. Because they're very smart. And I'll leave you with that.
Yeah, the
No.
council meeting's tomorrow.
No. You're misunderstanding. So, changing zoning is not allowed by the zoning commission, okay? They still have to take it through the zoning commission. The zoning commission does a review. They take a look over it. They vote to either approve or disapprove, but it cannot be changed by them. That's another thing that we changed, was that it always has to go through one full set of commission eyes and then get back to this governing body eyes, so that we can circumvent things like people thinking that our zoning commission isn't doing a good enough job, right? And saying like, oh, they just did it anyway, or they missed something. So on higher level things like this, we made it to where we would have to have, 8 sets of eyes, a mayor's set and another 8 set of eyes on 2 different on a governing body and on a commission before anything could be done, right? And then that's why we go through public hearings. Like that's what's tomorrow, is a public hearing. Yes, go ahead, sir.
Just to rephrase the question, did I understand correctly that there was already a zoning commission meeting at which this was voted on the roof line? If so, when did that happen?
All of our meetings are posted, all planning and zoning council meetings. And everybody's welcome to look there, for upcoming meetings. This has been in the works. This is a 2-step process. So
yeah.
on planning and zoning, it's basically a 2-step where they go there and it's a recommendation that the planning and zoning gives to the council on how they recommend that the council votes. Our planning and zoning commission did recommend that we vote to approve the zone change. And since then, we've been very forthcoming and very transparent and called 2 town halls, which are not required, just to get input from the community and hear from you guys.
Yeah.
Yes, that's why you all are here today.
And
Way prior to
long
that.
time.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah. Probably a month before, maybe a little longer. And yeah, it takes quite a bit of time to work through any of these things. Even tomorrow there will be a vote, right? Because it's a public hearing. But it's been 2.5, almost 3 months in the works just to get to this point, and prior to that, it was probably 2.5 years of just discussions back and forth even. February 25th. Okay. Let me take him first and I'll come back to you, Alejandro. Go ahead, sorry. Gentleman with the sign.
How does the council determine community fit? I'd imagine you'd want input from the community, some sort of poll or something, which in a sense, all the people here are providing their input on community fit to you in this town hall meeting. So there's some input. How do you weigh that? How do you guys collectively, as a body, determine whether a proposed project fits the community standard and community outlook?
So that's by us, I guess, whether we feel it does or whether we feel it doesn't. We would take definitely input like this. So this is a zone change as far as I'm concerned, right? Because there are no developments proposed. There's nothing there. So until that comes to us, then we're going to absolutely say things like, man, we want the community input. Does this look like it's usable? Half the time stuff comes through our zoning commission that they deny before it gets to us and send people back to work on it before it comes back through them and then back through us. So it's a very long process, right? And if they don't think it's going to be a fit, okay, whoever, like,
the prerogative of the council, essentially.
That ultimately in the end, yes. Yeah, it's through the council, who are all, as they've said before, people who live here, grew up here, been here for multi-generations, own all their homes here, things like that. Zoning commissioners, who are also all people who live in this community, who grew up here, were born here, have lived here for 100 years or so. You know, so when it was Mexico, they were living here. So yeah, it's ultimately the prerogative of the commission and the council. Yeah. Alejandro, go ahead, sir. I'll get right back to you. One second.
Why is everything so rushed? Why are we having a town hall meeting on Home Sunday where a lot of families can attend? We're having a meeting the very next day. Why is it so crunched together? Why is it so quick?
So we didn't have to have a town hall meeting. First off, we didn't have to have 2 town hall meetings. What we're obligated by law to do is to put forward all the dates, put them on our websites, put when we're meeting, things like that. I had this one rushed because everybody deserves due process, right? So when, and it's not rushed because it's, well, yeah, you guys too. I'm trying to give you guys due process here, right? Everybody deserves that, right? So this woman came, legally submitted an application for a zoning change, went through my zoning commission, came to my council. We're legally obligated to look at it. Then we held legal notice to call for a public hearing, and we've gone through all that process. We held 2 other meetings since then, and I just don't feel it's rushed. If it was you trying to put something in, and I all of a sudden told you we're gonna slow it down, we're gonna take a year or so to look at it. Like if you were coming to build your home, if you were coming to, you know, put in a business, something like that, and I said I'm not gonna look at it for a while. But how happy would you be with me or this governing body right here in front of you? Yeah, I'm gonna get there. Yeah.
Members' opinion on how this process is going and affecting your guys.
Perfect. One sec. There's a woman in the back first. So I'm sorry, guys, but she's been waiting a minute, and I'm just not you, her. I'm so sorry. And can we get you a mic, please? Oh, Alejandro, thank you, bud.
Thank you, Mayor.
Sorry about that.
So if the council, fingers crossed, denies the application, do you anticipate the developer to appeal it?
I don't know. I think I would if I were her. She absolutely can. And the next step in that process would be actually going to leave district court.
And so if you do pass it, do you anticipate an appeal from the public?
There is no appeal process for the public. Oh, okay. Is that state? Because that's not in our code. Oh, it is? Oh. Okay, well, 30 days. Wait, you wanted to hear from everybody else? Yeah. Who wants to go first?
I'll start. So, you know, in all honesty, we were faced with having the meeting to make this decision, and we actually slowed down and had these town hall meetings so we could hear from y'all. These town hall meetings maybe would not have happened if we didn't take that into consideration. We might have just went ahead and had our meeting, and then you guys would have to hear about this afterwards. But no, we're taking the community and all of you into consideration, and that is why you're all here today. So, you know, have a little bit of appreciation for this governing body up here, to this governing body for even taking the step to take you all into consideration.
Yeah.
I was just going to say on their behalf, whether you agree with this or not, I sent them a letter asking them to postpone. And what they did is a compromise. They said, we will allow people to have another day, because what I'm hearing from the community quite a bit is we did not know anything about this. And I think what has happened, this is just my thought. You guys are in Tijeras, you let the information out to Tijeras. We're not Tijeras, we're not seeing it. It's in that indie paper. So I think,
in the journal too.
Yeah, and who reads that?
I know.
journal's gonna hate, they're gonna give me an F minus grade this year. I don't care. But in all seriousness, they have done their due diligence, but I didn't see it. I didn't know about it until I started hearing about it online. So I think the only thing I would ask maybe is put it on like next door, one extra step so that people know. That's all. But they didn't have to have this meeting. They had this meeting today out of respect for the people. So I'm gonna stand up.
And no, I appreciate that. I really do. And we've attempted to go far above and beyond. So we're required to publish in one paper. We publish in two. We're required to do 15 days. We're doing 20 plus days. We're not required to have any town halls whatsoever. So we're trying to go above and beyond. We want to hear you guys. We want to talk to you guys. We want to see what the weight is. And even right now, like an idea that popped into my head while it's in here, like, why don't you guys come and ask us to change the size of zoning, right? So that's a valid conversation to be having, right? Not giving someone due process and not like moving through these motions like we're required to by law is not a valid thing to ask me to do, or this governing body. We're obligated to do this kind of stuff and treat people in a certain way. Like I was saying, how would you feel if someone came to you and said, I'm not going to process yours until I feel like it, right? Like that's a really weird way to go. But one second, I still haven't finished his question and asking the other council members how they feel about this. Who would like to go?
I'm a 46-year resident of the village of Tijeras. The property in question is directly across from my home, so it impacts me also. I can assure you that this council and the mayor are taking all your comments in consideration. This is not a hasty, decision to be made. We understand that. And I believe by having these two hall council meetings, we're trying to express to the community that we care about this community. I care about the residents in the village of Tijeras. I care about its economic growth, which we don't have much of here. But ultimately, this council is going to have to make the decision either to appeal the CB2 or to approve it. And that's all I have to say at this point.
Guys?
Just to kind of piggyback on everything that everybody else has said, like the mayor mentioned, we're all deeply rooted here for many, many generations. If there's anybody who doesn't want to see a scar of a big box, anything, it would probably be us. And I would hope that Alejandro or my daughter or anybody, would step up, that are lifelong residents who have seen the development of dispensaries or failed strip malls up the way and things like that. We already know that those aren't working, right? And so we're taking your guys' word into consideration. And like at the last town hall that we had, like the mayor had mentioned, in order to know about these meetings, you got to be in it. You got to check the websites. Just like we didn't know when certain things were going to pop up unless we were reading on it online and getting our own information. We definitely want to make sure that it is going to be best for everybody involved. And I, again, hope that you guys have faith in us that we will take that into consideration.
Absolutely. Okay, let's let Jonathan say his piece, and then you're welcome to speak lastly there, sir. Well, not lastly, but after him.
So to Alejandro's question on the process, I think the process has not been rushed. However, after hearing from you guys and hearing, we live here in this community, we work here, our kids go to school here, they participate in different sports programs. I coach. I know a lot of this community, and I don't want to make any decision that would impact anyone negatively. However, at the same time, we do have also a responsibility to our constituents to be able to provide some type of gross receipts tax, so we're not totally dependent on state and federal funds for our roads and our water systems and things like that. So we it is a balancing act for us, and we're going to do our best to make the right decisions. But we do hear all of you, and I think the potential for amending some of our CP2. I don't think that that's a bad idea. And I think we can, maybe discuss that. But to answer your question, Alejandro, I think that the process has been at a good pace, when we're following all state statutes and things like that as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, sir, go ahead and come up. And then after this speaker, if everybody would like to take like a 5-minute recess, because I've got a lot of water here. Just a quickie, guys. Go ahead, sir.
I'm kind of just here to provide some information. I've been in law enforcement for quite a while. And in the area that I work, in the places I work, I deal with Mavericks, I deal with Flying J, I deal with Loves. And the only thing that I learned from them is they're a hotspot for crime. And they are something that require a lot of our attention. The Flying J right now is requiring a lot of attention. And it's hard to try and keep things where they need to be because they tend to gather the wrong kind of people. And the bad thing about it is the Flying J is trying to deal with it by putting securities in there. Security is running to people they're having trouble without, and then they're moving into the community and they're starting their stuff in the community. So I'd just like for you to have that information. If that's a decision, an avenue you just decide to go on, just to keep that in mind, because it's going to be a major impact on all those stores that I've dealt with. They've all been a hotspot for crime. And I've been a cop a long, long time. And always the ones I dealt with and all the ones I mentioned in town, they're all a hotspot for crime. Just for that information.
I appreciate that very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, everyone. I gotta go. And you're welcome to speak. I just, I'll wait.
I'm going to make Jay wait for a while and see how long it can last.
You can pull it off there too. Yeah, you're good.
So I guess the question I have, I'm Senator Ant Thornton for this district, District 19. And so I've listened to the conversations from both sides and I got to ask a question. What does development in New Mexico look like? Specifically, what does development in the East Mountains look like? Because if we're not a developing organization, we are a dying organization. We need to face up to that. If you don't develop, you stagnate, then you die. So the question is, what does that look like? I don't have the right answer. I know Charlotte mentioned that she has some concepts. That's all she has. If you have ideas about what does a development in the East Mountains look like, share them. Give them to her. And I'm sure, I've never met you, but I'm sure you will consider it seriously. So that's a question you all need to ask yourself. Are we going to stay stagnant? Are we going to grow? Or are we going to die? It may or may not be a false choice. But what I'm saying is, I don't have a way. I'm here to represent you.
Order.
I'm saying, I know what I've heard. I know what I heard. Is there anybody here that's in favor of this? So we got about a 40-60 mix, 40 in favor, 60 against. So what I've heard is the zoning will change from CB1 to
CB2,
to possibly a CB2. My understanding is all that yellow underneath the red is already CB2. That's APS. And the yellow above is what? There's yellow, there's north, there's yellow above as well.
There's a daycare up there and a private home actually sitting on CB2.
Okay. So it's completely surrounded with CB2 already. So legally, I don't know what the answer is going to be. They're going to make that decision tomorrow. That's for them to make. I'm just saying that given what we have right now, that would be a pretty good lawsuit to say, everybody around me is CB2 and you're not going to let me do it. I'm just saying. We already have CB2 in that area, APS or not. The question is, if it does go to CB2, you've already heard that this council who lives here, who directs this for the rest of us, they know what we want or don't want. You've heard that. We don't want a big box. We don't want a Walmart. We don't want a Denny's.
We don't want a
We
truck
don't want
stop.
we don't want a truck stop. You've heard all that.
I don't
They've
think
heard
anyone
that.
here was.
I guess my answer here is have a little humility and trust that this group who was elected by this community will make the right decision for us. And that's really all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, everyone, let's take a quick 5 minutes. I really gotta pee. Sorry.
Oh, I'm out of here. It's only your field now. I'm just a spectator.
All right, everybody, if I can get you all to kind of quiet down a little bit, we got a few more people that would like to speak, and I'm sure we're going to have a lot more interactions and stuff here shortly. A couple of quick things. Everyone that's speaking, I need them to take the mic here and speak into it. We are broadcasting too, and if you're not speaking into the mic, well, then it's not broadcasting. So we're broadcasting YouTube, Facebook Live, and also Zoom. So you can't be heard. And the parking lot. Another tidbit of thing, we moved a cooler out into the hallway. There's a cooler and cups for anyone that likes some water. Feel free to get as much as you would like. Okay? That being said, next person on my list here is Elizabeth Devern. Elizabeth, one more time. Okay. Okay. I'll move on. Carrie Jordan. Hey there. And you can pull the mic off of there too if you want to hold it and address the crowd or address us or yeah, whatever you like.
Just wanted to kind of open up the dialogue again, not so much make some big statements here, but I know the changing of the SB1 designation or the stipulations to that,
yeah.
And or two, just wanted to talk about if that's possible to be done before voting on approving or not approving this change in zoning.
Explain that again.
I think you had mentioned at the onset, or encouraged us to think about this,
yeah.
Making some changes to the guidelines, the stipulations for CB1
yeah.
and or CB2.
Oh, okay.
And I'm wondering
so
if that
we were talking.
the council could consider that prior to making a decision about this particular parcel and their zoning.
Okay,
change.
so I understand what you're trying to say.
That's the one thing. I do have something else.
But, okay, so you're trying to say that are we willing to change the zoning code before we give this change this zone? Is that right? Okay.
I'm thinking that to me that seems to be the prudent way.
Okay. And then
and especially with Representative Thornton bringing up legalities,
yeah.
That was concerning to me, thinking like, well, you know, what would happen if, let's say, an approval of the zoning change was made, and then the applicant, you know, time goes by, you guys make some changes to CB2 perhaps, and the applicant is like, well, wait a second, that wasn't the way it was when my zoning change happened.
Yeah.
And now I'm proceeding down this path, which, you know,
which is a fairly good question. I believe if there's no development on it yet, we get to change it. But our attorney should be on the line. Is he on there?
Mayor, if I may,
Yeah,
real quick.
go ahead.
you know, I'm not saying that we're gonna approve it or deny or whatever, but just say that there was a possibility of approving it, if we could approve it with the stipulation that these zoning changes would be made.
I think, and that's a good question too. I think we could approve it. And again, I will need to ask our attorney, but I think we would be able to approve the zone change with the stipulation that any future zoning change would apply to this parcel of land as well, if it wasn't built on already. And then I can fast track something real quick.
All right. With that being said, I do think that's a very great point to bring up about the zoning change. So I definitely think we should take that very seriously into consideration myself. So.
All right. Yeah, no, that's a very good point. I could talk to my attorney.
And I know the applicant gave an introduction here today, but I would like to hear a little bit more from them about their current business, because we're hearing just so many different possibilities and
yeah, a lot of hypotheticals,
including, she said I would prefer to lease or sell it. That in her current position she doesn't get paid. She's a volunteer. And I know in just trying to do some research myself on the Student Athlete Headquarters Academy, I'm reading some things that I would just like to know more about. Like it says that it was once a charter school, which was abruptly shut down by NMPED. And the applicant blamed the state and said the people who founded the school were not allowed to run it. Mm-hmm. So I would just like to hear a little more background about this applicant and their current business.
Okay, sounds good. Would you like
Mayor, should we keep it more to the zone change though versus a character?
Yeah, let me just address that because she impugned me, and I just want to be able to. I spent 6 years writing a charter, and we got it approved. And the people that the state brought in to run the charter, we owned the building. And we also ran the nonprofit, and they said because we owned the building, our nonprofit owns the building, our 501c3, that we couldn't participate in operating the school that we wrote. So I opted to close the school as opposed to allowing the state who were harming the kids in the program for that first year. And so to turn down the money that came with operating a charter school, because it was harming kids. So that is the actual truth behind it. I chose to close it down. I continued to run my program. We continued to own the building across from Presbyterian Hospital, and we continued to serve kids. And 100% of our kids that come through our program and graduate in our program get college scholarships. 100%. Thank you.
Good. Thank you very much. And yeah, if we can definitely keep things to discussion of what would be possibly developed or the zone change, things like that, it'd be much better. Please, no character issues.
Having a charter school a possibility there? Everything's a possibility.
Yes.
I'm just wondering, everything's a possibility. Yes, everything's a possibility.
Yes, everything's a possibility. Yeah. All righty. Right. And we need speakers to speak into the microphone. All right. Let me go with the next person on this list. Jeff Zirzo? Jeff might have left. Okay, perfect. Do we have any more speakers? I know. Okay. And there's a gentleman, one sec, I'll get to you right afterwards. The gentleman in a striped shirt right back here that wanted to say something before the recess. I'm sorry that I didn't get right back to you, but come on up.
Good afternoon. My name is Bill Lockgreen. And a couple points I want to bring up that haven't been mentioned. One of them has been mentioned, which is the safety. The predators that do come to these places. One of the things that we don't think a lot about because sometimes it doesn't affect our families, is sex trafficking. And it's been proven that sex traffickers, predators, hang out at these places. So one of the things, because we have families that live thousands of feet, just a few thousand feet, we have little children that live off the highway there. And I spent my life as a first responder, working in the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department. And I know the statistics of what happens in these kind of events. Secondly, as a first responder, we saw the devastation that happened in California because there was no water. The entire community of Malibu burned down. Fire trucks would roll up to fire hydrants that had no water. Same thing would happen here because our water hydrants don't produce 10,000 gallons a minute, which is required as a CB2. Our fire hydrants out here on North 14 are tagged green, yellow, and red. The yellow and red indicate they don't produce enough water. I don't know if they've changed that, or if you're planning on changing that, Mr. Mayor, or if you've done any current studies of the water flow. We've talked about water usage as far as drinkability, using the water for the restaurants, for the ice. But what about fighting a fire? I'm looking around this room and I'm seeing people. I'm seeing hearts. I'm seeing children. I'm seeing elderly people. And my heart goes out to these people to think that you're going to be burned up in a fire because a fire truck can't get through that intersection. You know how devastating it is to roll to a call of a baby not breathing and not be able to get to an intersection because there's big rigs and cars and you got to go off-road with your vehicle to try to get to these people. And then when you get there, sometimes it's too late. What do you tell that person? Well, we have a Maverick. We have a Loves. What about their child? What about your mom or your dad? We're talking about people here, hearts, people, all for the sum of money. You know, she could sell this place in 6 months after it turns into a CB2 and that's where she can leverage her land. That's called leveraging. I buy it low, I change zoning, I sell it high, I leveraged. And you know, any big chain would buy that. And then their counsel here, of course, your hearts are in the right place, but you're not going to be here forever. There's going to be someone else sitting in that seat that has bigger dreams of the CRT, of the GRT, your gross receipts tax. And they'll say, no, we're going to let Walmart, we're going to let Target, because it's CB2. And their hands are tied when it comes to certain stipulations in those laws. Like it was pointed out, why won't you grant it for me? When there's CB2 here, CB2 there, why can't I put a Walmart in there? Why? I mean, that's being prejudicial. And their hands are tied because they have to go by the letter of the law, in spite of their intent. They may say, no, we don't want it. We live through our lives. But when it comes down to it and it goes to court, they're going to say, well, no, it is CB2 and the statute just say this. My concern is the people. My concern is the lives. Getting a fire truck through that intersection when there's Walmart trucks or Applebee's trucks or delivery trucks or Coors Light trucks going into the Maverick. That's my concern. How do I roll through that intersection? How do I look those people in the eye and say, I couldn't get to your dying baby? I'm sorry. There was a big truck in my way. These are just things we need to think about. And the fact is, she could sell it. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. So as far as this zone still goes, it becomes conditional use, which means we can stop those kind of things. And I, like everyone else here has said, please have faith in the people you guys elect. Have faith that we will not put things like that. Have trust in us. We don't want that in our communities. No one who lives here is going to want that in their communities. And only people that live here can be elected here. Okay? Like that's the only way we can get elected. Well, anything would be a possibility.
This meeting is for the zone change, so that's what this meeting is for. Whatever is going to be Yeah, so whatever is going to be presented after that would come back to us. So right now, anything could happen there, and that's why we're having this town hall to inform people, to hear you guys, and it's only for the zone change though. This is not for any specific business and not for a Maverick or a truck stop.
We need you guys to speak into the microphone. We're broadcasting and everybody has to hear this. Sorry.
Thank you.
And you can carry it around, but
just as our elected officials, I think the concern right now is that we're not exactly being listened to. Obviously, there's been no vote, but the vast majority of all the people that I've spoken to, and the vast majority of everybody at this meeting, I think, empowers you to make the decision to deny the change. And this is where we can stop it before we have to come every single development and every single lot in that development. It's easy to just shut the door now and say, no, we don't want this. And as a community, that's where we are interested in you. And we just hope that you would be listening and vote in line with what the community is saying.
Let me ask you a quick question. You have a business here in our community, right?
I do.
Okay. If you owned this parcel of land, okay, I'm sure you'd want to develop it. Okay. What would you put there?
Say that again.
If you own this parcel of land, what would you develop it into?
I mean, I wouldn't develop it personally.
Yeah,
that's I think what the sentiment here is that I wouldn't develop it, and most people here wouldn't develop it. And it's not a cash grab. It's a piece of property that, while I'm not opposed to the development and economic growth, I think it's something that's that needs to be. Yeah, it needs to be limited in size.
I don't think here
scope,
anyone has said that we don't want to be limiting it. I think everyone here has made the statements that we want to be limiting this. Okay. We've been entertaining the idea of changing the zoning and then making sure that attorneys will assist us in that to make sure that this couldn't go to something more than 5,000 square feet, something like that. But
everybody's
up to the same question, however, though, is let's juxtapose, because that's all we're doing here today is everyone is juxtaposing what's going to happen to this piece of property. If you had a piece of property, not this piece of property, and you wanted to develop it, are you going to be okay with us telling you you can't necessarily do that in a way that you would like to be doing it? It's a good question.
I mean, I do. I mean, Zach has some experience in this, but I should also say I do own the property upon where our building is, and I'm not developing it any further than it needs to be because it's limited and it's within scope of what I think is beneficial to the community.
Which is what I'm hoping this governing body would approve anytime there was a development on that property.
Which business is it that you all own? Sorry. Roots. Oh, Roots up there on
14. Yeah.
Right behind my
37
house.
South.
The one right behind my
okay,
house, the old general store.
Okay, I'm understanding better now. Okay. All right.
Yeah. No.
No, I appreciate it. I was just wasn't sure which business you were talking about. Thank you, sir.
And it's a good business, great establishment.
Yeah, no,
Thank you.
Amazing community.
We definitely appreciate you.
So I do run a business where we're jammed up because of zoning rules. And so
Yeah.
I can speak from personal experience here. And my experience has been is that what's typical in this state is that if you're a big corporate, out of state, big moneyed interest, you have no problems. Dollar General is going in the same zone that we're in. We're trying to do a very small local food processing facility and being jammed up on special use permit this, special use permit that, DOT access, yada, yada. So what I want to repeat what I said earlier.
Exactly
make
same
sure-
thing that would happen with these guys. But yeah.
Well, what I'm saying here is that your repeated assurance that you can pass this zoning change and then control what happens afterwards is simply not factual. You could put conditions on it to try to jam them up, and they could appeal it to the courts. And if Walmart's lawyers get a hold of it and you give them the legal entitlements you're talking about giving them right now, there's nothing you will be able to do to control what happens on that piece of property. What we will end up with is large scale corporate development that undermines our businesses, that changes our neighborhood, and that damages what you guys are saying you're trying to protect. And I want you to recognize that and think about it before you make the decision.
Absolutely. Thank you. Go ahead. You gotta take the mic though. Or her, then you. Oh wait, you've been waiting a long time, huh? I'm so sorry. Go ahead, sir, please. And then I'll come right back to you. I know you have. And
yeah, thank you.
There's a lot of people speaking.
I'll be quick. I've got two questions.
Yeah.
We've talked about these conditions, potential zone changes, ordinance changes. So I'm guessing that there's been some thought about this, especially after all the input you've received from the community.
Yeah.
So the first question is, when the planning and zoning made the recommendation to approve, did any conditions come along with that? Did they recommend conditions? And the second part,
they can't put any conditions on it.
Okay, thank you. Second part is, now that you've heard all of this, there's concerns with traffic, with crime, with things that filling stations bring, truck stops. What conditions might you be considering now? Can you give us some insight? What's going through your mind of what might be fed into this in your thought process on conditions?
On conditions. So I'll take this a little bit. I don't want any truck stops around here, and I don't think any of this council does either. Smaller filling stations possibly, like the one up the street. Okay. Either, what is that one? That little Chevron up the street. That is 2,000 square feet-ish, I think. So something in that kind of range. Something where people can, get a little bit of fuel, hop on the road. We get not only GRT, but we also get, we'll call it road tax as well, right? State road tax, where we're making GRT off of, maybe beer and wine sales. We can't have a whole nother packaged liquor here because of a license that's tied up somewhere in this community right now. But, and not that we'd want a whole nother full-on liquor license. Oh, excuse me, guys. I would like things like, I don't know, areas where contractors could work out of there and do artisan work, which are going to require, 4,000 square foot buildings. I would want conditions like they have to look kind of like the mountain, kind of like Triangle does, kind of like Trail Rider does, things like that. Those are the kind of conditions that I would be thinking. Definitely strict light conditions. As far as traffic, they would have to adhere to whatever DOT says, just like we have to adhere. Like I explained there in front of Molly's, we have to adhere to that. They have to adhere to it. So for a single entrance in there, they're going to have to do their own traffic studies and make sure that's happening. So those sort of conditions. You guys think of any other kind of conditional stuff you want to put on there?
The conditions I would try to impose would be, I think would be more the visible look on it. I think I would try to impose, the size, of course, for each individual establishment.
Yeah.
And that making sure that each individual establishment would kind of fit together and not really change the aspect of the community, I guess, would be important to me. And and I would definitely make sure, or try to make sure, that the traffic studies are dead on, that we're making sure that we're going to be able to, or that development is going to be able to sustain the traffic that's already there and not really, I guess, damage it beyond what it might be.
Yeah, traffic for sure. I've actually heard, because of the traffic that goes through there currently, NMDOT had discussed actually doing a roundabout like they did up at Frost and 14. I know everybody hates roundabouts, but they are the safest things in travel. Yeah, everybody hates roundabouts. There's actually another one going in just, east of here, down at 217 and 66. So yeah, everybody's gonna hate that one too. But just because of the traffic studies they've done in determining how much accidents are happening through there, they're gonna put one in too. So it slows everybody down and it gets everybody to, pay attention as they're driving around. But go ahead, Manny.
Yes, sir.
So you just said that you would want to impose some restrictions on the size and on the ability to impact the community. Do you think 136,000 square feet of structure is where you would land? And if so, why would you approve that now without knowing what may come?
Well, I think that's why we're having this communication right now. And I think with the input that you guys are giving, it's kind of opening up our eyes to a lot of these issues, correct? Right? And that's why we're not being closed-minded and not listening to you all. We're kind of sitting here listening to you guys. We're talking about possibly zoning changes. If we're closed-minded to all what you guys are telling us, we wouldn't even make how can I say it? We wouldn't make consideration.
Or the effort or the consideration to even sit here today.
And make zoning changes or whatever might come of this, right? Unfortunately, she has to have the ability to develop the property. How she's going to go about it, how she's going to go about it is going to have to be decided, hopefully by all of us coming together and making sure it's done in a manner that's suitable for everybody, I guess,
Let me see. Let me go with her first, Alexis, and then I'll come back to you, sir. Okay? All right. Alexa,
So I actually have two questions. I did have some interest in knowing a little bit more about how the fire hydrants work. I thought that was a very good point. And I wanted to see if they're currently up to code. I know that's currently contracted out. Who would be responsible for all of that?
Okay. So we do test our hydrants annually. We use either our water operators or they correspond with Bernal County Fire to do it. We own the testing equipment. They do paint them those three different colors, red, yellow, and green. I think blue, right? But so yeah, the green is the highest CFM that you can get. They test CFM and volume coming out of it. So some of them are lower than others depending on where they are in the community. Some of them are higher than others depending on where they are in the community. And realistically, they call every pump house we have as what's called a catastrophe pump. And so those catastrophe pumps can be automatically turned on when we start drawing off of hydrants. Fire trucks start drying off of hydrants, and they can take extreme volumes very quickly. So,
Mayor, if I may add to that as well, just recently, how long ago did we just put a new tank up on the hill over here?
Just a couple, 5 months ago, 6 months ago.
How many gallons?
Another 90,000 gallons.
So currently they're up to code for CB1. They're not currently up to code for CB2. Is that correct?
I don't know
In that area?
I don't know that there's a difference between the code for CB1 and CB2.
He had mentioned something. I don't know where he's at. About CB2. I don't know anything about that. So that's why I'm asking questions, because I actually have no idea.
I'm not sure if there's a difference between the code. It's just like the hydrants need to have a certain amount.
Okay.
And like I said, catastrophe pumps will kick on and draw them out quicker than you can imagine.
Yeah. So I would just like to second the idea that was put forth earlier to change the zone coding, all of the restrictions within that prior to, whether that takes you 2 days or 2 weeks or 2 months. I mean, if on the third day it's already changed and you guys want to pass something that makes more sense under the new restrictions, but to the point that Alejandro made, and that was stated again, I just think that 20,000 square feet plus 100 and how many thousand square feet for a whole development is excessive and not what those ideas show back there. Those ideas, some of them are quite beautiful, honestly, but nothing like that would be needed, and also would prevent any of the major developments coming in. Her selling it as a CB2, making the money and running with that somewhere else. I think that would be an exceptional idea.
Thank you.
My name is Randy Hutchins. I'm a chiropractor. I've been here for 30 years. I've been in business for 30 years.
The longer I listen, all you guys have been here longer than I have. Yeah. So appreciate the time.
Thank you.
You listen. I think the main concerns, well, my office is right across from that building with the orange stripe around it.
Yep.
And I've had my fingers crossed, hoping there wasn't going to be a gas station or a fast food convenience store there.
We shut that down as a gas station about 10 years ago because
It's
of
a floodplain, right?
it's in a floodplain, and then how tanks weren't going to be and all kinds of stuff like that. The egress and exit, because DOT would only let them have one single thing. So yeah, we shut that down about 10 years.
Good on you.
Yeah.
And there was other mysterious goings on there.
Yeah.
I don't know what they were.
It's weird. Yeah. It's
Anyway,
a weird spot. Yeah.
The well at my office was a residual well.
Yeah.
I'm on city water, of course. It dried up about 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
I live down South 14, and we've got a 2,500-gallon tank just to support our well. Everybody knows that. It's an old story.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So my main concerns when I think about that development, just the reality of it, something's going to happen there.
Yeah.
We all know that. Is water.
People should get to develop the property they own.
I mean, they have a right to do that. Bought it at a certain zone though, so that's where you bought it.
Yeah.
So that's the buyer's responsibility.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Anyway, the main issue for me there is, besides water, is traffic, and that's what we've all been talking about.
Yeah.
So I like what I hear you saying about changing some flexibility, maybe a creative problem solving to this issue.
Yeah.
That would relieve some of at least my anxiety. I think our anxiety about bunches of trucks rolling in there, lots of traffic problems, things like that.
No.
I think that would be helpful.
Okay. No, and I think that the council is definitely going to be looking at that.
All that said, that place is going to be here long after we're all gone.
Yeah.
And I don't know what kind of structure can be in place, because trust is great and you guys' hearts are in the right place. But after you're gone, who knows?
Yeah.
If the buyer wants to sell.
Yeah.
Sometimes us humans need regulations to keep us honest.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And like we've all said, we're entertaining the idea of looking into the code and things like that. Especially if we can do it either direction. And changing the code is almost a process like this, right? So we don't have to hold town halls, but we have to hold public hearings. Yeah. So we hold workshops, we discuss the changing of the code, we present the code to the council, and the council's always involved in it as well, and so is the zoning commission. And then it goes to a call for a public hearing. We have to publish. We wait 20 to 30 days. We come in and we do this thing again.
Yeah, so let's hurry. Yeah.
So that's that's kind of the process. Thank you, sir. All right. Oh, I'm so sorry, Charlene. Ms. Biscotti, how are you doing today? Yeah.
My question is about, to the questions about safety, fire and police.
Yeah.
The village of Tijeras doesn't have capacity. They don't have a police force, very limited fire resources.
We do have a police force and a fire department. We use Burnco and we have MOUs in place to make sure that we can always call them, that they have to police us, that they have to protect us with fire. So yeah, we do.
Okay. Well, yeah, thank you for bringing that up, because that's what I wanted to ask about, because with Campbell Ranch, I believe they had both written letters to the town of Edgewood to say, we can't handle Campbell Ranch.
Yeah,
So,
because they have their own police force. Yeah.
town of Edgewood, you're on your own. So are you anticipating that maybe Bernalillo County will say to this project, 60 acres, I think that's another reason why this is really bringing a lot of
Sounds
opposition.
massive. It's not all like usable land at all, but yeah.
Okay, well, I don't know that. You said anything is possible, and I believe you. So.
Anything's possible, but I
Anything's
mean,
possible.
has anyone ever seen the mountain over there? The concrete plant? Anything's possible. They're taking out half the mountain, right?
Right.
But
And nobody
we're never going to let that happen, right? Matter of fact, we want to try and take that so that we can put more regulation on them. And that's the sentiment of this body.
And that's in Bernalillo County, though, not the village,
And
correct?
that's in Bernalillo County.
Yep, that'd be
So we
nice.
have no say-so over it. And we would like to have more say-so over things like that. So in this sense, we're still going to have all the say-so. Anyway, I digress. Go ahead. I didn't mean to hop in.
No, yeah, just back to my point, have you had any conversations with Bernalillo County Fire or Sheriff's Office about what they would do if this turned into a big commercial property with the problems that the gentleman in the back brought up?
Yeah.
And,
So we
you know,
haven't talked with
crime,
them
fire.
because, again, kind of cart before the horse thing. We need to know what's going to be put there, right? Before we can, we can ask them, we can have those conversations, but I mean, they can maybe do a study, but they're probably going to want us to hold off on that too and figure out what the impact would be. Because if we tell them today, what are you putting there? And we say, we don't know, right? That it just seems, again, a little bit of the cart before the horse. But
well, I just wanted people to be aware of that, you know, you would have to go to another government. And if they don't have the resources to cover that, which could be a big problem, then it's a big problem. So I wanted Miss Rode, is that how you pronounce your name? Rhodey? Rhodey, okay. I wanted you to be aware of that too, so thank you.
No, absolutely. Thank you. Mel? Yeah, go ahead and come forward. I saw you walk in that direction.
We've heard a fair amount about potential, anything could happen there. We've talked a lot about different scenarios. One of the scenarios I have not heard about that is actually measurable and has a reasonably good chance of happening is if we have a big development there, there's potential for the natural vegetation around it to be subject to fire. There's a high probability that at some point there will be something that will escape this site that could burn our entire mountain down. Now, how will we address that? How will those kinds of concerns be part of your decision process? Are there components of the proposed zoning that address what happens when we burn our entire community down because we needed to have a maverick here?
So that's, I mean, it's a unique kind of question and it's still considerable amount of happen chance there. So everyone in this room that has a fireplace in their house has the same probability of burning this mountain down, okay? That's a real deep hypothetical. We can't say that for a certain. I don't know if there's any way we could really write into code. I'm pretty sure whenever, like how we could write into code, how you have to stop to make a fire. I mean, cars parked on dry grass can start fires with catalytic converters. The people then become liable, the person that does it or the business that does it, and law enforcement and firefighters cause them to be adjudicated at that point. So how are we supposed to do that on the backside?
Just a hypothetical question, but the idea that there could be a significant fire as a consequence of this particular business, not somebody's fireplace, is significant. And I suggest that the council talk to the people who are knowledgeable about the potential for fire in the East Mountains. There are organizations, there's the Forest Service. I think that those are very reasonable things for you to consider and for the property owner to consider. Who's responsible when we no longer have an East Mountains?
Mayor, if I may.
Go ahead, sir.
So part of planning and development is, you know, they have to come through us after for a specific business. Now we're not talking zone change, for a specific business after that's approved, Bernalillo County will be overseeing everything with permitting and with everything else. So they do have their own fire review department that's with the fire department. And so every development, including residential dwellings, all have to go through Bernalillo County and they have to go through that fire review. So that would be a part of that process.
I would encourage you to look at the data for fires and the probability that the East Mountains will see them.
It's huge. I think it was her, but whichever one of you would like to go first. It's in the back room.
I just have a quick question. We don't know what's happening there. Nothing's been approved, but it's starting to be cleared. You know, what was the impetus to start clearing trees and producing this big brush pile and there's nothing that's been approved?
So I did get it approved, and I only cleared an acre because that's what I could afford to clear, because I do intend to start marketing it. And I did send out a message. I stopped by the church. I stopped by the coffee shop. We sent out messages here for the community to come get the wood so that they could use it. We didn't want to waste the wood. So we did have people come and get free wood for their personal use. And so it was cleared, and we will start marketing it soon. But in order to market it, I felt as though it would be better. That corner will be cleared. That corner is the highest and best use for that corner is a commercial parcel.
So marketing, what are you marketing? What are you marketing?
To lease it, to lease the property to a business, right? Mhm. Yes. To build something, correct. So something will be built on that corner. And in order to market it as a for lease property, I am in the process of clearing it so that, because it's still left for people to come and get wood, and they've taken most of it. But I intentionally did it in 2 phases so that the person that cleared it would leave it. And he actually came back one time and spread it out because it was difficult to get because it was all piled on one on top of the other. But that is the intention. So we will be moving forward with marketing that corner. And it was 1 acre out of the 68 that we own. And that corner will be commercial. So it was just cleared. I don't like cutting down trees. It hurts my heart because I like being there and I like hiking, but it's necessary and it is a commercial corner.
So of the 68, how many are you expecting to use for commercial versus for
Primarily just the frontage of North 14. It depends on how far they go back, but there is the slope of the property along with the water flow. It will limit how much we can use, but primarily it will be that frontage on North 14. And then if you hike back there, you'll see that the elevation rises quite significantly, and there's a lot of rock when it comes to the ridges that are there, like you have little mountains on there. So there are a lot of rock and there are a lot of ways.
If you were to take a guess, would it be 10 or would it be 40?
I don't think it's 10 straight across if like you did 1 acre. I'm not exactly sure how much. You might be able to go back like an acre and a half and go back, or 2 acres and go through, but I intend to develop the frontage. And it doesn't mean that all of it's going to be developed with no trees in front. Like if it was something I was doing, I would like to leave trees along North 14 and have a drive that would go back so you could preserve the look from the highway. But that corner is clear commercial, and that is going to be cleared no matter what we use it for.
Sir, yeah, the gentleman in the blue shirt.
Hi, my name is Gary Maggi. I own 10 acres, just on this property, by the All Grandy Methodist Church. I just have a house on it. I'm not going to develop it, but I would like to just make a statement. We have the Turquoise Trail. We have one of 8 scenic highways in New Mexico. That's beautiful. And to develop it in the vision of that would be excellent. Develop it, keep it as natural as possible. We all like nature. It's why most of us moved out here. And
They're actually about to bring the Rio Grande Trail through us too. So it's going to come down 14, same way that the Turquoise Trail does, and then it's going to turn right here at 14 and go on 66 down through 66 and get back down to the Rio
those
Grande.
are huge assets that we have, and we need to be good stewards of it, not develop it to the hilt for money.
Yeah.
So that's just my input. I like it. I love it here. I thank you. Thank you for the time.
Thank you. All right. Yes, sorry, bud.
I'm up here as a father, just to voice my concern, mostly with the gas station, and it's not just a rumor. Charlotte mentioned the last meeting, Maverick had reached out with interest to put a gas station there. You told me yourself when I asked that that's what you want to see put there, with a gas station and a hotel. We had a couple people speak to the crime involved at gas stations, high crime areas, predator hangouts, right off I-40, which is labeled as a major human trafficking corridor. And that's according to the state police. So a predator hotspot next to a human trafficking corridor. As a father of two daughters that are sitting behind here in the room, it's a major concern of mine. These pictures back here, I don't have beef with. There's those pretty buildings that would look nice in the East Mountains. I'm not against progress, but I'm very anti-gas station. And just coming to you guys as a father.
No, I appreciate it. One quick second here. And everybody is saying how, of course, maybe not a gas station, or they don't like it, or the high crime. Has there been a lot of studies done? Does anyone in the room happen to know? Zuzax is a gas station just like this one we're talking about. I imagine we could get with Bernalillo County and ask them how many responses they have to do there. So that's something that I'd be willing to do. Talk to people about that. But I know it's a bad spot like a gas station, right? But what would you want put in there? The pictures in the back. Okay.
The pictures in the back.
Yeah.
There's 3 bus stops along adjacent to that property as well, where there are kids sitting out there waiting for the school bus every day.
Yeah.
I meant to mention that as well.
Okay. No, I appreciate that. I think Alejandro, go ahead, sir.
I know we've heard a lot about gas stations and stuff. And I know I appreciate the council. You guys have said, no, we're against gas stations, but you guys aren't here forever. I think your term's up in
A year and a half.
Councilmen and women, are only elected for how long?
4 years at a time.
So it isn't going to be this council forever, but these zoning changes are pretty permanent. So that's kind of why I'm thinking, I understand that this council doesn't necessarily want a gas station, but the people who have been living here for a very long time will continue to live here for a very long time. Maybe the next council won't respect that opinion, but what you're doing here right now is opening the door for anything to happen in the future. And I think that's one of the main concerns a lot of us have here.
Thank you very much.
So just going off of, we just had the father in the back come up and speak about safety. Mine is also about children. The applicant mentioned that she works with children, which is commendable. And what about the kids in our community? The decisions that we make here today are going to affect the children in our community for generations to come. And so I ask, not necessarily that there's absolutely no development. I won't beat any dead horses of the gas station. However, what we decide here today, it does matter, and it matters for the generations of the children, okay? Our kids here in this community. So I just want you guys to know that we can develop responsibly with them in mind, because we will be giving them any problems we create, we are giving it to them.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And this governing body definitely knows that. And that's why when we redid the zoning code, we wrote in everything had to be conditional. Everything has to be conditional in this zone. Everything. So, ma'am? Sorry.
Hello, I'm Catherine Lyden. I've lived in the East Mountains for about 25 years. And what I want to say is I've heard you all say to us many times that we need to have trust in you, that you will respect the values of our community, that you will protect the beauty of our rural community. But the thing that strikes me is that it's hard for me to trust you because here at this meeting, it seems that there are over 90% of us that are opposed to the zoning change. When I talk with people that I know all over the East Mountains, there hasn't been a single person that is in favor of the zoning change. So why should we trust you if you're not paying attention to the overall sentiment of this community? And we are not opposed to development. We'd be fine to see that parcel of land be developed, but under the current zoning requirements. There's many things that she could do with the land. She could do a local restaurant or other kinds of local businesses. So I just really beg you to please hear what we're all saying.
Thank you. Let's see. Wow, that's the first time I haven't seen a hand go up in more than 10 seconds in a while. Guys, I want you all to know that we will take into account what people are asking of us or talking to us about, things like that. And I encourage you guys to come to the other meetings. I encourage you guys when we start looking at changing this zone, changing the language in this zone, maybe be something that is, more accommodating to what all you guys think, and being open to the idea of discussing why we would want other reasons, why we would want other things, stuff like that. I'd encourage you guys to definitely come and work through those processes with us. Back in 2022, every person sitting here and a few other council or commission members did meeting after meeting after meeting after meeting in workshops to revamp this code, okay? We went for days and days and days, every single person sitting here, right? No one came to those meetings, okay? No one came and wanted to talk to us about zoning. So I encourage you when we start holding these meetings that you guys come to them, okay? That you put your input in and you stay open and, just because we have responsibilities too, right? So not just sitting here and talking with you guys, but we're fiscal agents of this community, which means we're responsible for keeping it, what's the word I'm looking for? Financially soluble. Solvent, yeah. And so we have to look at ways we can do that, okay? We spend a lot of money and we need ways to get that money back into our community. And we would like that money to stay here in our community. And people say, and I've read a lot of stuff that, we could go to Albuquerque and get stuff. We can go to Edgewood and get stuff. We can go into Cedar Crest and get stuff. But that doesn't bring any money to this community that we have to keep up and running. So come talk with us, have these discussions. We're open to this kind of thing. Like I said, we went line by line, just trying to figure out the best way to do it. And this was the best thing we could come up with for now. In retrospect, we had just left 20,000 square feet from 30 years ago when this was written and didn't consider it was going to be that crazy because none of us here would ever approve any development up to 20,000 square feet. So please come, please participate. Come participate like this with us, okay? This is what we're interested in. I'd love to see a room full of people. We love to have these kinds of conversations. We want your input. We need your input. That's what we try and do for everybody. So please come talk with us, things like that. Help us change the zoning ordinance. Help us work on it. Come give your input. Please, please, please. Okay, guys? Yes, ma'am. All right.
I wanted to make a brief comment. My name is Lindy Ruggiero. I'm an East Mountain resident. I thank you all so much for your time. And I want to say I attended the March 2nd town hall.
Yeah.
And I'm hearing a very different approach, in particular of usage. I'm not hearing Applebee's. I'm not hearing a hotel. I'm hearing what I consider to be sensible alternatives. I'm still frightful of the change of CB2. I will oppose it. But I think your possibility of being able to somehow change that zoning to eliminate the hotel
get rid of the 20,000 square foot, the 137,000 square foot. If that could be accomplished, I think it would make most of us much more comfortable. The kind of businesses you've suggested, I think most of us would say those are fine in our community. But we like small things, local florists, bakeries, food shops, and your idea of an artisan's development. That's what we want. We don't want, really don't want a filling station. And that's what the application specifically states. So again, thank you for your time and your consideration.
Thank you very much. In the back. Yes.
I just felt prompted to share something with you all. I run on that road that's across the property that Charlene bought every single day. I run from Matterhorn to the next Matterhorn. It's only 3 minutes to get from one side to the other. I see these kids get home on their school bus. I see the kids from these residents wait for the bus on the corner of Matterhorn and North 14. I see them come home on the bus every day. I just met Briar. Where's Briar? Come here, Briar. I just met Briar recently, and his brother Callan is not here. He's on a missions trip. Come on up, son. This little boy and his brother ride the bus, and Callan comes home off the bus every day, right? I don't know about the friend, the girl, the daughter. She's not your daughter. She's your neighbor. Your neighbor. She's how old? Okay, so off the bus. So your son is Callan, and he is how old? 13. His brother, right? And Callan and his friend, she's about 13. They get off the corner right across the street from the property that Charlene purchased. Charlotte, sorry. They get off there every single day, and I see them every single day. I doubt that I will see those kids get off that bus if a CB2 is granted. There's no way a parent is going to trust that those children will make it from that corner to their home safely. I have no kids, 0 kids. I'm 61 years old. I know nothing. I can't say I'm a mom, but I've met his brother and I met the other little girl, and they get off that bus very confident that they can walk home safely without any problems. And I'm there and I watch them because I run from that corner to the next corner every day. Every single day I run 6 miles and I run around that mountain. I'm not going to appreciate anything that is built there. My view of that is ruined, no matter what goes in there. Those are beautiful things. But I have run there for 26 years, every single day. There's days I miss, but I've run in the snow, and I am concerned for these kids. I doubt that a parent is going to allow their kid to be dropped off. I just ask you, Counselor Ortiz, Counselor Garcia, Counselor Arellano, Counselor Caulfield, Counselor Armenta, Counselor Barnes, and Mayor Bruton, if that was your child or your grandchild, you all live in the Tijeras, Cedar Crest, Mountain Home Estates. But if that was your child right here or your grandchild getting off the bus or waiting in the corner on a very cold morning to get the bus, those buses are not going to be needed anymore. They won't.
because I doubt that any parent would allow a child to get off. Am I speaking wrongly of that? These parents have to work. They trust. That's why they moved here to these mountains, because we feel safe. We feel safe to leave a child at, how old are you, son? 9? At 9 or 11 years old to come home, and he knows when he gets home from being an air traffic controller that he knows his child is going to be home safe. I don't think so. So I'm saying this to you all. Consider that child that stands in the corner of Matterhorn and North 14 that I see every day would be your grandchild. Your grandchild. Not just any grandchild. Now it's your grandchild. That changes things. That changes things. It changes things for me, and that's not even my child, but he's my neighbor. So I just beg you to really consider what goes in there, because it will change lives forever. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And absolutely, I don't think in any way that any governing body would ever not take life safety, human life into account when we start making decisions like this. That's definitely a reason why we have, like I said, conditional use. We consider things, we run studies, we build sidewalks, we do that kind of stuff to get kids up off the streets. We work with, schools, we work with places like that to make sure kids are safe and there's good programs and things like that. So I don't think anyone on any governing body anywhere is going to take life safety and people's lives for granted. All right. Yeah. One more thing. Yes, sir.
I hear what you're saying, that you're going to take these things into consideration and do special use, things like that, after the fact. After the fact. So they're like Band-Aids. Let's put a Band-Aid on this one. We got 2 kids snatched up from this neighborhood. Let's do something different. Let's change the bus route. Let's make it a little safer over here. Those are after the fact things. Why even open that door? Why open the door for anything is possible? Anything coming, how high can you think? Anything is possible. Why open the door? If you shut the door, it limits to those anythings being possible. It limits. Leave it CB1 and let her develop around the rules and the guidelines of what she purchased it for. There are a lot of businesses that can go in there as a CB1 and be viable businesses. And with 58 acres and CB1, she can make some good GRT for you. You can develop that. You can do some really nice things, beautiful things like this. But those pictures, that could change. She could say, well, we changed our mind on our development. That was the plan, but things changed and I ended up selling the property. And now we have those set of rules because we've already made it CB2. And see, it's really difficult. See, if you go to CB2 and then all of a sudden someone wants to come in and you start changing the guidelines of the zoning.
The majority of things in those pictures over there are not permissible under CB1.
No, I'm saying,
but if she wanted to do things like that,
right,
you would have to
but she could change her idea. So I don't want to do that development. So that development may or may not even be a possibility. That's a beautiful picture, but that could change, and she could sell it, and someone else come in. Now, the thing is, when you have zoning changes, and now you say, well, we're going to add these stipulations, but then she's going to come back and say, wait a minute, when you approved my CB2, we were under these guidelines. Now you're adding stuff. So when she takes to the court's going to say, no. When you approved the CB2, we had these guidelines in place. So she's grandfathered in under those guidelines. Any future people come in will have to go through those because now you can adjust them. And the future people, but she will be under the guidelines of what it is today.
Yeah. What we discussed earlier, though, is to make sure that we can do that kind of thing by motion. And so there's a whole lot of power we have by motion, and these guys definitely know it. So sometimes we can put in a zoning change with a condition of saying that this zone or this land will always carry, this stipulation. So we can do that too. So that's what we had discussed earlier,
Yes. So I just wanted to make a clear fact of those things of coming after the fact. When a problem presents itself, well, then we'll change the rules and the guidelines and the things. I don't think that's necessary. If you just say no to a CB2 right now, or tomorrow, and you say, you know what, there's too much involved. There's too many unknowns because, again, anything can happen. There's just too many unknowns. Let's just say no to a CB2 because it's just too controversial. It's just too much at risk for our community. Then you don't open that door. But if you open that door, you're allowing a lot of possibilities to come through that door, or things that want to come to that door will try. And you're going to make your jobs harder because you're going to be checking all these different places and and then you got to be fair and you have to be impartial. So, but if you just shut the door now, you're going to eliminate all that and just leave it CB1. And I understand that, GRT is important and we do need to have resources for our community and for Tijeras to be able to survive, but there's got to be other ways than going to CB2. I mean, 58 acres should develop, at least maybe 30 of those acres in a beautiful CB1 zoning type thing.
Right.
And make something, a lot of little businesses in there.
Yeah. And yeah, and that's what we've all kind of discussed at this point too. So yeah.
I thank all of you. I know your job is not easy.
Yeah.
It's very difficult, especially when you got so many people that feel like are against you.
I don't think so.
We're like a small group of people, and there's 1,000 people that have signed the petition already.
1,100 and change.
Has a voice.
Yeah.
I just thank you because your job's not easy.
Yeah.
Your job is not easy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And I mean, we've had a lot of other CB2 in the community for a long time. And people aren't beating down our door to develop that or trying to purchase it from, like developers aren't trying to do that. I think she is going to try and do something smooth, easy. We have CB2 all around it, like I stated initially, and there's nobody beating down anyone's doors to try and develop large scale things that are currently like still conditional use in those zones. So it's, one of them's probably 25 acres, 20, somewhere in there. So there's lots of CB2 around it that they could do large scale stuff like that on. So I appreciate you, all your concerns and everything, but yeah, we do have that, and we're not getting our doors beat down right now. Go ahead, Alejandro.
I don't know if there's any more hands up there. But kind of just to close out, I just asked that I know we've talked a lot and said a lot about how this is not we're not allowing the Maverick or allowing whatever in right now. But as you mentioned, we're opening the door. So when you're at home or when you're thinking about it, it's a door that's opening. And once you approve it, it can't be closed, or it's going to be very, very hard to close it. So remember that while you might not be voting for the actual establishment, you're voting to open a huge door. So that's it.
Thank you very much. All right, guys. Yeah, I think I'm going to limit it to you as last one. I think everybody said just about everything to say. But yes, please go ahead.
Sorry to run us out a little bit longer than what we've already gone.
No, it's quite all right.
But again, appreciate you guys giving us a voice to come up here and say this, because like you said before, you didn't have to do this. So
yeah.
I really appreciate that. Secondly, like my neighbor, I share a fence line with him. When he was talking about his daughters living just so close to where this potential gas station might be. Because that's what I've heard the most is potential for the gas station. And there's a difference in the gas stations. We have a few in the East Mountains already. And so we have that ability to get gas if we need it. We can't make it to Albuquerque for maybe cheaper prices there or whatever the case may be. But there's a difference with the gas station that we do have. We don't have big exits off the highway like what we do here at I-40 and 14. That can draw more of a crowd. All right. You have to go a couple miles up the road to the first Chevron and way up to get to the Shell that's up there. And that's not drawing a lot of I-40 traffic. The one gas station that I can think of between Albuquerque and Edgewood that does have a big exit is that big gas station, Cedillo Hill. All right. And I had a good friend just a few years ago, police officer that was shot in the neck there. He was answering a call that came in from the owner or people working at the gas station of people doing drugs in the back. That gas station was visible from the highway, and it drew that type of person, and he got shot in the neck and it ended his career. He survived, but it ended his career. So that's one thing to think about. I don't want that across the street from where I live. And if it can be anything but a gas station, like my friend over here is saying, I work with him, he's controller too, by the way. If there's anything that we can do to keep a gas station from going in there, that's what I am fighting for. I do not want a gas station there. My kids are there. I don't want the potential for human traffic or people doing drugs or another person getting shot right there. So that's all I have to say about it.
All right, guys. Yep. Thank you all for coming today. Like I said, I encourage you to attend all of our meetings all the time. They're not all nearly as fun as this. So, yeah. But thank you all again. I really appreciate it. Yeah. Watch our websites, watch everything. Sign up for our Text.gov. Do that, and we can try and help get you guys more informed.
Thank you all as well. I appreciate it. Appreciate it very much.
Yeah, that's why I didn't know you could come to here. I was listening in the truck. I